live for nothing. I am a failure, and I love it. Deviant. Die for nothing. I am my own friend. I don't need anyone else. I'm just like you. Deviant.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to GridVision's coverage of Top Split NIS here tonight at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Definitely going to be a lot of gambling going on here tonight, but I can't not wait to see this action. I've been watching races all week long here at this racetrack, and it has been nothing but pure high octane. I know Austin Estrom loves it when I say that, but it has been nothing but pure octane, high octane action. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. I have Austin Estrom as my co-commentator. Down behind the cameras, of course, is Austin Derbyshire. But Austin, I am really looking forward to this one. 134 laps here tonight. This is going to be just exciting. It's been slick here this week. I don't know if you've turned any laps. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite things that you say right behind, yeah, 100%. But other than that, Las Vegas has been pretty interesting this week. I caught a little bit of the A Open yesterday, or sorry, NIS Open from yesterday, the Thursday afternoon one. And let me just tell you, I'm glad I'm not racing in it, because it's going to be just about pack racing for 15 laps. Tires are going to wear out, and you're going to start seeing who saved those tires really well in the first 15 laps and is able to pick their way through the field after that. Hopefully it doesn't turn into a caution fest so that we don't just have the pack racing the entire time, because the racing here, whenever it's spread out, is extremely, extremely entertaining. A lot of comers and goers throughout the field. And if we do get that long green flag run, we're going to get a little bit of everything with the pack racing at the beginning and then normal kind of old school NASCAR field towards the end as the field spreads.
100%. Looks like, of course, pretty cool track, too. 73 degrees on the track. Let's take a quick look at the remainder of the week here for the schedule. So we do have some racing, I do believe, 2 more races on the schedule for this week. Of course, nothing really going on tomorrow. We will have something going on, I do believe, the week after that on Saturday, which will be a majors series race at Norfolksboro, of course, in the 87s. Of course, doubleheader on Sunday, though. Global Racing Truck Series, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Las Vegas. Of course, later that night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Xfinity cars and the RGR Kalu Glass Cup Series, of course, going to be at Vegas as well. So a lot of Vegas on the docket. 3 different vehicles we're getting ready to see, so definitely excited to see that for sure. And so not a whole lot going on after that. Of course, Monday we're going to continue. Actually, no, I think we're off this Monday for GridVision Super Speedways. So we'll give you a little bit of a break on Monday, but we'll... Oh, I'm sorry. We had a little bit of a mix-up in the schedule. I think we actually will be in competition on Monday. So, yeah, I'm C-tier commentator here. But definitely an exciting one we have here in front of us here tonight. Let's take a look at the points coming into tonight's race for the NIS division. And looking at that, Garrett Maines at the top of the board right now. Of course, he has about 7,552 points at the moment, and not very many over Chris Wilhite. Of course, we haven't seen him in the NIS Top Split competition on Fridays. I think Wilhite must have been running in another, time slot. He's in second place, not that far back behind him. Of course, Nicholas Roman has been really, always doing really good in these races. He's in third. Joshua Watson sits fourth in the points. Joseph, of course, sits in fifth place. Alex Murray is in sixth. Justin Levine, our very own Justin Levine, I should say, is in seventh. Ryan Carwile is in 8th place. Matt Hottenbach is in 9th. And, of course, Drew Blaze is in 10th. So, very tight points there for the top 10. And could we see it change here tonight? I don't think we'll have to see if Wilhite makes it into competition. We definitely have a lot of strong drivers out there, Alex. I mean, 5,000 plus, or Alex, I'm sorry, Austin, 5,000 plus SOF. I had Alex Murray on the I'm deckled here now. I'm just getting worse and worse as we go.
I mean, this is not a good start here up in the broadcast booth, but we're going to get it figured out. I promise everybody that. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be a good race here tonight at Las Vegas. I mean, what a crazy racetrack. Kind of its own little standalone thing in terms of the mile and a half. So I'll get to that in a little bit as we first go down the race rundown.
Yeah, starting grid, of course, is set in stone here. Garrett Maines is going to be qualified on the pole. Very good lap there for him. 29.1, very quick lap. I think that's world record status right there. Second place, Sean Conklin. Third place, Daniel Nanny. Fourth place, Nicholas Vroman. Fifth place, Miller Bond. Sixth place, Jacob Snyder. Seventh place, Shane Davis. Eighth place, Noah Bitts. Ninth, Joshua Watson. Of course, 10th, Paul Bergoli.
11th is going to be Alan Wilson. 12th, Lawrence Shaughnessy. 13th is going to be Justin Levine, followed by Octavio... Holy cow, I got a little confused with that. Rondo Leto in 14th. 15th, Kerry Insing. I'm doing just as good as you. 16th, Justin Belmont. 17th, Heath Snyder. 18th, Ronnie Kuritz. 19th, Joshua Gathright. And 20th place is going to be Richard Garcia.
21st, of course, John Wittendorf. 22nd, Brett Stevens. 23rd, Kenny Powell. 24th, Jose Acosta. 25th, Justin Nanke. 26th, Junior Barbarima. 27th, Brendan Hamel. I think that's how you say that. We're getting all the good names
We're
here tonight.
doing so good tonight.
100%. 28th, Brandon Edstrom. 29th, Alex Murray. 30th, Brian Young. We'll go ahead and round out the field. 31st, Maggie McGuire. 32nd, Tai Polito. 33rd, Rodetic Gregoris. Yeah, all right. 34th, Alan Pajari. 35th, John Groh. And 36th, Drew Blaze. So we have got a mouthful of some race car drivers here tonight. I'm telling you, this has been a lot of hard names tonight.
How do you pronounce a Z after an R? Anyway, I'm going to go on to what I was talking about earlier about the racetrack. Las Vegas very, very different between turn 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4. 1 and 2, multiple lanes on the racetrack. I mean, you're going to see people running on the bottom. You're going to see people running in the middle. And as the tires wear out, you might see them scamper up to the top lane just a little bit. But there's a couple bumps in the middle of the corner you got to watch out for. If you hit them just wrong, you're going to kick the back end of the race car around. That thing is going to come around like crazy, and there's just going to be no saving it coming off of turn 2 if you hit them wrong. But then in 3 and 4, you can make the outside work. And obviously, if you're on the outside of somebody going into the corner, you can pinch them down and kind of hurt their run coming off the corner. But I would rather be single file through that corner if I was in the car. It just seems like it's kind of more of a bottom feeder corner through the early parts of the run, and you would rather be down on the bottom. But again, if you're on the outside, you can make it work. It's just not necessarily the most productive place to go up and kind of run the fastest lap times possible, lap after lap by yourself. I think if you see somebody single file, they're probably going to be running the bottom in 3 and 4.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I definitely could see that being the case. But then again, I mean, I know I've done a race or two this week myself, and I'm not a pro by any stretch of the imagination, but I have found it incredibly difficult to make the passes on the bottom, to try to get that run off the corner. I think that's going to be one thing we're going to really see a lot of problems with. We're going to probably see some 3 wide. This is going to be a crazy race. I have no doubts about it. Very cool track as we see the pace car getting ready to dive off of pit road as we get ready for the first green flag of the evening. Garrett Maines enters the Geico restart zone, and up through the gears he goes. Green flag is out. Sean Conklin, of course, with a good start, but Daniel Nanny almost pushing Garrett Maines up to speed here. I think Nanny's ready to go. And I'll tell you, I've been incredibly impressed with Nanny the last several weeks. This guy, ever since I think we started calling these NIS races, has really been lighting up really the competition. He's been so good.
Yeah, he's kind of found some speed recently as he's to the inside of Sean Conklin, multiple-time race winner in the NIS Open Series, especially on Friday nights. There was a string of races where Sean Conklin was just winning every single week, but now Daniel Nanny to his inside, trying to take that P2 position. He's going to have the inside for turns 1 and 2. Let's see if he can just kind of wrap it around the inside just as fast as Conklin, but Conklin really throws it in deep there on the outside, and he's going to easily clear him coming off the exit of the corner.
Yeah, definitely looks like Garrett Maines, of course, uncontested right now. Clean air, I think, is going to be a big deal. You talked about how handling, I think, is pretty much a very important feature that you want to have out here. You're going to want to have that resource, that clean air, and Garrett Maines, of course, has that right now. Now, one thing we're not going to see is drivers really trying to drive away and having that success. I mean, you're going to see a guy might be able to get away out to a second, but most of the time when you drive away like that, you are burning your equipment up. So keep an eye on drivers doing that. If someone gets up to the lead and maybe doesn't maintain the gap, instead they try to build on it, that person's probably going to fall back into the clutches of everybody else.
Especially if it's within the first couple laps. Obviously, 20 laps in, the tires start wearing out for certain people, so maybe somebody can find their pace and really pull away from the field. But for the first 20 laps of every single run tonight, if you pull away like that, like you mentioned, you're absolutely burning up your stuff. That right front's going to fall off the race car sooner than you can say anything. So I would be kind of surprised to see Garrett Maines scamper out to a 1-2 second lead here at the beginning of the race. I think he's going to keep it in check, as is Sean Conklin. I don't think Sean Conklin's going all out either. As you see, I know we're not looking at it on the broadcast right now, but even going into 3, he just kind of lets off a little bit, gives Maines a little bit more room going into the corner, trying to get as much clean air on the nose as possible before they get to the corner. And then he wraps it good enough to where he gets a decent draft down the front straightaway, decent run coming off of turn number 4, and closes that gap right back up to about where it was before he entered the corner. So I think you're going to see that kind of strategy all throughout the night with a lot of these guys trying to save tires, because the tires have meant a lot this week.
They definitely have been. Of course, we've been seeing a lot of guys getting a little bit, I think, a little too close to that wall out of turn 2. That seems like this a big deal right there. Very easy to hit the wall coming out of 2. Very easy to hit the wall as well coming out of 4. But I think the major thing you're going to see here tonight is guys getting loose out of 4. I noticed whenever I was out there on the racetrack, when I exited 4 narrow on the bottom, kind of closer to that white line, that's when I got really, really loose. Very big, I think, almost a change in banking right there. Very much unsettled for the race car. We're going to have to keep an eye on that as we see some side-by-side battle. Of course, that's Shane Davis versus I do believe, Lawrence Shaughnessy. That's for the 9th place position. Justin Levine, of course, right there trailing in that battle. As the battle has not, of course, been settled out. Shane Davis on the bottom side, while Shaughnessy is, of course, on the top. They are back and forth here. Here comes Levine, thinking about taking them 3 wide.
Yeah, he thought about it, but he thought better of it. Probably a little too early to do that, and it would have been a heck of a kamikaze move down there on the bottom if he tried to do it. But I kind of feel a little weird because, oh man, the 3 wide, I'll hold that thought. Shane Davis and Lawrence Shaughnessy just splitting Bonds there in the 26. Oh man, Bonds really crowded Shane Davis on the inside. Lawrence Bigotry gives plenty of room, doesn't want to get caught up in that. That's probably going to allow Shaughnessy to get a pretty good run off the corner. A really, really good bit of momentum coming through the straightaway, but he got side drafted just a little bit, and they're still 3 wide before they get down to turn number 1. Who's going to come out of this battle ahead? I mean, it's anybody's guess at this point, but it looks like Bonds is going to be the one that loses out the most, as Shaughnessy's now to the outside of Paul Bergoldi coming off of turn 2.
This is just absolutely nuts right here. I'm surprised they made that 3 wide stick. I mean, Shane Davis and Miller Bonds were almost touching there that entire time, and coming out of 4, you do not want to be 3 wide. Just consider, like I talked about, the guys you get unsettled coming through there. The race car does not handle very good through there, but it looks like they were able to keep it kind of under control. But now it looks like Joshua Watson has entered the fray, as well as I do believe Justin Belmonte up there on the top. That's a driver we haven't seen a whole lot of in these top split races, but definitely glad to see him out here in competition. Paul Bergoli as well, battling side by side. We're seeing all kinds of battling in this mid pack, and I love every bit of it.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of this towards the front of the pack and a couple of the A-Opens and the NIS Open from yesterday, where they would be 2 by 2 for a long, long time. At the beginning of this race, everybody kind of single-filed out. I think that everybody has kind of learned throughout the week that you really need to save early on in the run. And also with it being, right at the beginning of the race, everybody's just kind of minding their P's and Q's a little bit better until you get back to about the 12th place position, where everybody's kind of kicking off and losing their minds a little bit. But up towards the front, I'm kind of surprised from what I've seen earlier in the week that we're single filed out as heavily as we are. But again, towards the back of the pack, I mean, not even the back of the pack, towards about P10, everybody is still just sprawling for position, trying to get every little bit they can. As important track position is, though, you got to think those tires, especially on the guys on the outside that are trying to make the moves happen, are probably crying a little bit.
No, I definitely think you're right. But look at the top side. Even though I think you're sacrificing those tires, you are moving when you use that top side. I mean, I'm looking at Justin Belmonte. He's definitely been making moves up there. I mean, he's up in the 9th place, now up into the top 10. I think he is going to eventually suffer the consequences. But for right now, they are moving, and it looks like he's working with Heath Snyder as well. So some guys even trying to work together a little bit out here.
Yeah, for sure. But if I was in that outside line, I would feel a little nervous. Somebody might try to stick it in the middle through 1 and 2. I think there's sometimes just enough of a gap for somebody to kind of stick their nose in there. And that could definitely be where we see an accident, because the guy on the inside is probably going to come up a little bit, taking their normal exit as if it was too wide. And the guy in the middle is not going to have anywhere to go once that happens. And I kind of thought Heath Snyder might look to the inside of Belmonte there to make it 3 wide on that last lap. Just wasn't able to get close enough in the middle of the corner, but I could definitely see a big accident happening off of just a little bit of impatience there from somebody following someone else on the outside line and trying to make something happen in the middle. But Belmonte still continuing his charge, trying to look to the outside of Miller Bonds right here. He actually gets there coming off of turn 2 as somebody else further back in the pack scrapes the wall off the exit of the corner. But man, they're just side by side battling all the way from 8th on back.
I mean, some places it's verging on possibly even 4 wide, as we see. I do believe that is Octavio, the showman. I think that's his.
That's what threw me off in the pre-race. That's right.
Yeah, he's definitely looking like he's possibly struggling a little bit here. Another driver that's not struggling. Started in 20th position. Richard Garcia is up to 12th right now. I tell you, this guy has been definitely impressing me every time we see him on the racetrack. That, of course, that lime green and black race car, always in contention somewhere, and started back in the deep in the field. I mean, big mover. Shows you it shows that you can pass out here if you got the stones.
I agree with you, but, and you know what, I might be wrong on this, but doing it this early in the run would kind of sketch me out a little bit. Going +8, 15 laps into the race, and it's not like he started in dead last. He started 20th mid-pack, but working his way up to 12th, trying to get to 11th place right now. Actually, he's all the way up to 10th now. I would just be a little nervous that he's really killing his stuff. I mean, look, he's looking to the outside of Belmonte. I didn't even think that move was on, but going into turn 3, he just gets it down onto the right rear quarter panel of Belmonte. Gets a good run coming out on the front stretch with a little bit of help there. Maybe a little bit of an air push from Paul Bergoli, not able to get quite to the back bumper, but he's just about side by side, completely even with Belmonte going into 1, but he's probably going to have the run coming off to 2 to make the move stick.
And I'm, looking back even towards the lead, Garrett Maines is starting to get a lot of pressure as well from Sean Conklin. We got somebody loose that went down onto the apron. I'm not sure exactly who that was. I think it might have been, that was Brandon Himmel. Went down on the apron. I think he was able to rejoin back onto the racetrack, and he lost a few spots. Now back in 21st now, but 3 wide. Look at Jose Acosta right there, battling. I do believe. I think that is Brandon Himmel still falling back, position into the wall actually, and everybody scatters like roaches with a light on him.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to cost him a ton of positions all the way to the back of the pack, but luckily no accident. Nobody kind of adding to that a little bit. But, I mean, the battle for the lead is starting to heat up just a little bit. It looks like Conklin's kind of drafting up to Maines relatively well through the center section of the racetrack, down the main straightaway, and holding really close through the corners, too. It doesn't look like he's suffering from too much of an aero-tight condition and is just really able to kind of run Garrett Maines down here, kind of peek into the inside before they get to 3, shuffles back in line, not willing to make the move just yet. He knows that he needs just a little bit more of an overlap going into the corner to be able to get that position away from a pro driver like Garrett Maines. Not quite able to do it there, but he's going to have another draft down the front stretch, maybe with a little bit of help from another Ryko teammate behind him. But still, I don't know if he's going to have quite enough to make a move down into turn 1.
Yeah, and how much does he want it? I mean, it looks like he's definitely pressuring Garrett Maines. Now, Maines is definitely a driver that I don't think it's easy to pressure him. But I think Conklin has definitely been rising through the ranks quite a bit. I mean, been getting just incredibly much better with the performances. I mean, this guy, I think 15 years old. I mean, just incredibly. We say it every week. Every week he shows up here, and he's always in contention to win these races. And I think Maines, he keeps a driver like Garrett Maines humble. Because, I mean, you better not slip up, because if you do, Conklin's right there.
Yeah, we saw it last week. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of an issue with the Roval broadcast where we had to cut it early. But before we cut the race, Sean Conklin had been leading a lot of the early portion of that race, and then just finally made a little bit of an error to let Garrett Maines by it, and then kind of compounded the error with another bigger one to drop him another 5 seconds off of Maines. But in an oval, a track Sean Conklin is extremely comfortable with, you can see it right now just how much he is hounding Garrett Maines. And to Daniel Nanny's credit, he's right there too in 3rd place, and Bitts in 4th, just following right behind.
Noah Bitts is a driver I've had some previous history with calling races for, and every race I've ever seen him in, he's always been incredibly talented. And so this is not a surprise to see him up here in the battle, of course, in that 4 machine and in 4th place. So wouldn't be surprised he might even be in contention. We see some battling going on further back here as Richard Garcia has fought his way up to 8th now, has gotten by Paul Bergoli. Now having a battle, though, with Miller Bonds. Of course, Miller Bonds has definitely been making his presence known here this evening. Very fast race car. As he's got the top line, he's going to get the good run out of turn 2. As here comes Paul Bergoli having a battle with Joshua Watson.
Yeah, Richard Garcia had gotten by Miller Bonds, but then Miller Bonds makes the move stick a couple laps later. You got to think maybe Richard's tires are falling off just a little bit to allow somebody to get to his outside like that through the middle of the corner. But again, further back, Belmonte is fighting to hold on to that position from Paul Bergoli, and he's got Joshua Watson right up his rear. So there are a couple more Ryko cars right here just trying to make the move around Bergoli coming around turn 1 and 2. They both got that outside line working. Belmonte might have gotten a little skittish in the middle of 1 and 2, actually goes up just about to the wall, and it looks like Joshua Watson is going to push Paul Bergoli on the bottom through, trying to take the position away from that number 6 there on the outside.
Yeah, I just think Belmonte, I think he just burned his stuff up. I mean, he just drove his way up to the front and really just didn't think about the consequences. I think he probably thought that he was going to be able to get that track position and maybe a caution was going to come out. But this has been so clean and green, 24 laps in right now, coming up to lap 25. I mean, and have seen no hide or hair of a possibility of a possible caution. These guys have been very clean so far, and you love to see it. I mean, I'll tell you, I've been seeing races this week at Vegas, and they haven't been this clean. I mean, definitely, I think we're getting a pretty sweet treat here tonight.
Well, we're only 25 laps in. Plenty of time to turn it into a she-show at some point. But I can see you trying to announcer jinx that they're really, really hard there. So I really appreciate that. If we end up getting a caution fest towards the end of this, I'm going to have to bump you down.
Blame me. Okay, you blame me. Okay, all right. Yeah, because I'm at D right now. I can't go any lower than that. I can't.
I think we're both at D at this point. We both started off pretty average, and we both completely butchered the starting lineups. So we both got the bump down to the D. The only person that hasn't made a mistake surprisingly, is our producer. I mean, who would have thought that in a million
A-tier.
years?
A
I wouldn't say
tier.
A. He's up to like B
Nice.
minus.
He still got he could definitely fail still. But what I've been noticing though is kind of we're seeing a big split start to happen in this field. I do believe top 7 have now split up from the 8th on back. Miller Bonds, of course, that is so Justin Levine. Right now, the gap between those two about 7/10, and Bonds seems like I think he's holding up the rest of this field.
Yeah, and you saw the front 7 kind of pull away from the rest of the pack because Miller Bonds and Richard Garcia were side by side, lap after lap, side drafting each other down the straightaways, not giving each other enough room in the corners to just get a good enough exit off the corner to stay up with Levine, stay up with Schneider, stay up with Roman. And unfortunately, they just fell, like you said, 0.7 of a second off. And now they're still battling back there. Joshua Watson still trying to make the move around Miller Bonds. Oh! The 6 gets turned down the backstretch going into turn 3. He slides back up the racetrack, then back down, and it looks like nobody else is going to get involved. Crazy save there from the 6, and great job from the rest of the field not to get involved in that accident.
Of course, that was Justin Belmonte, and he seems like he still has not gotten that car back under complete control, as we're going to have to take a look back and see exactly what happened. This is, of course, the first caution of the evening. We're looking through the cockpit camera of Belmonte, and it looks like very close to the wall here, and it looks like he just got turned. He was holding a straight wheel. Let's see. We're gonna take another look from a different perspective. But what a heads-up driving, awesome driving from Belmonte to be able to keep that thing under somewhat control and not involve anybody else. I mean, we're gonna have to definitely, because he looked like he was holding a straight wheel.
Yeah, I think Heath Snyder just kind of came up trying to side draft, trying to extend the entry to the corner a little bit.
Yeah, no,
and he
100%.
definitely just came up too much. I mean, he really just left reared Belmonte there in the 6. Almost looked like Heath was maybe a little tired racing him. That was a close miss there down on the apron, though. I couldn't quite tell who was.
I don't know who that was either.
But man, that was close.
Who that was, but that was incredibly close. That should have been death right there. I mean, that was wow. Unfortunate to see Snyder kind of go up there, like you said, just a side draft, probably trying to slow Belmonte down a little bit.
It was such heavy contact,
wow.
man. It was
How did that not end up with 2 dead race cars?
It was such a heavy side draft such a heavy amount of contact that I gotta think Heath Snyder was maybe even just trying to pull into line before the corner. I feel like maybe he just misjudged it because that kind of looked like Kyle Busch with Chase Elliott back at Darlington in 2020. I think that was the COVID year. I want to say that it was somewhat similar. Like he was just trying to pull back in line and misjudge the kind of discrepancy in speed between the 2 cars, and I think he just made the mistake and pulled up and wrecked Belmonte. I don't know if it was anything intentional. I think he's probably just trying to pull back in line, but unfortunately for Belmonte, he was the one that got the worst end of that, even though he didn't make any type of mistake. But luckily for him, nobody hit him, so he just gets to put on tires. He'll have to start at the back of the pack, but he seemed plenty fast enough, plenty of time left on the or plenty of laps left on the lap counter for him to make it move.
I have identified the race car that, of course, that had that near miss. That was actually Justin Nanke. But we're going to take a quick step away while we have a moment. We'll be right back with the rest of the action here in Top Split NIS.
Racing isn't easy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GridVision's coverage of NIS Top Split. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but it looks like it's all cleared up. Green flag is getting ready to fly once again here. Pace car preparing to take that left turn down pit road. Of course, Garrett Maines out front right now, as everybody, I do believe, has completed a pit stop, taking a fresh set of tires, and everybody pretty much has refreshed, and the green flag is back out in the air. Garrett Maines, with a heck of a restart, pulls away from his Ryco teammates of Daniel Nanny and Nicholas Vroman. Where did Vroman come from? I'm telling you, he's up in that second. Sean Conklin. Where did he go? He's back in 15th place.
I was about to say, where did Vroman come from? Where did Conklin go? Conklin must have had a terrible time in pit road. Must have slid through his box or something. And that's kind of allowed a new second-place driver to kind of shove his way into the fold here. Daniel Nanny up to P2. Good drive from Daniel Nanny. He was right on the back bumper of Conklin, who was right on the back bumper of Garrett Maines there on that first run. So I do think he has plenty of pace to stay up here with Maines for the early portion of this run, as we got a side-by-side battle here. That's Vroman trying to take the inside away from Richard Garcia. As bad of a pit stop Conklin must have had, Richard Garcia must have had just as good a one, because he is all the way up to P4 whenever he was running around the 10th place position before that caution.
He had a fantastic. Oh, we got Lawrence Shaughnessy sideways on the apron here, and he saves it. What a save from the 9 machine of Lawrence Shaughnessy. But going back to what you were talking about, Richard Garcia spent 38 seconds in pit lane. Everybody else 39, 40. Sean Conklin, 45 seconds, so one end of pit road to the other. So that might probably explains it. As we have a battle for the lead, Daniel Nanny not content with running in second here.
Yeah, he had a great run down the front straightaway. Looking to the inside of Garrett Maines. Is Garrett Maines just going to give it to him, save his tires a little bit? Or is he going to really race him hard for this position? He kind of pinches him down in the middle of 3 and 4. Nanny has to lift just a tad, and it looks like Garrett Maines is going to keep that position. As we mentioned earlier, though, turn 3 and 4 is really hard to pass in. That bottom lane, whenever you get pinched down like that, you just got to get off of the throttle. But still a valiant effort there from Daniel Nanny, trying to take the lead away from Garrett Maines. Just maybe a little early in the run. You got to think you don't want to kill your tires that quick. You might fall through the pack if you maybe try just a little bit too hard, but it looks like he's still all right in P2 and didn't kill anything too hard. But man, we got a hornet's nest behind him. Same thing that happened the lap before with Lawrence Shaughnessy. I mean, I couldn't tell you exactly what happened, but I imagine with a hornet's nest like that, he must have gotten ping-ponged around in there pretty well. And then we had to get out the Rocket League what a save button 3 times in a row, because it was just such a good save down on the apron there from Shaughnessy. But still, man, just tight racing all throughout the pack.
And look at it. I mean, we talked about how terrible Conklin did on pit road. Well, he is just driving through the field like a rocket, up to now 5th place. I think he restarted in 15th. He is all the way back up into the top 5. It just got by Garcia like he's standing still. Where did this guy come from? The 54 of Conklin is absolutely on rails right now.
Yeah, Conklin is flying through the field. I don't know what the hell he did to be able to get from 15th to 4th so freaking quick. But every single time that he looks to the inside, looks to the outside of somebody, he gets by him by the end of the corner. I mean, look at this around. Noah Bitts on the outside. Doesn't even give Noah Bitts a chance to challenge him back. And he just completely takes a position. As we have major contact towards the back of the field. Couldn't quite tell who that was in the wall. I saw Jose Acosta get a little loose. But man, Sean Conklin just marching through the field like he's the fastest man alive.
He definitely is. I mean, I'm wondering, he's got to be overextending, though. He's got to be hurting those tires in somewhat of a desperate move to try to get the track position back. He's probably going to be hoping for something to kind of go his way, or he's got to start cooling those tires back down right now. Otherwise, he's going to pay the price. I mean, because I just don't see how you run that far up through the field and not have hurt your tires.
Yeah, it's the age-old question of, is track position more important or is your tire life more important? Well, every single run, it can be different depending on how long the run is. Today, I need to check how many tire sets we actually have for this race.
5.
We got 5 total.
In the pits.
5 in the pits. So you got to think that's probably plenty, especially with that first run being almost 30 laps. You got to think if a caution comes out 10 or 15 laps into this run, everybody's going to come down and take that second set of Goodyear Eagles. So maybe Conklin's just thinking, all right, I'm going to go balls to the wall, get my track position back, and then hopefully a caution comes out 15, 20 laps into this run, and everybody comes down and puts on a new set, because at that point, who cares? You got your track position back, and you got new rubber on. I'm sure that's what Conklin's going for, but man.
The race here in the mid-pack has been just absolutely nuts. I mean, we'll be seeing 3 wide break out fairly regularly. You see Justin Levine trying to drive up above Miller Bonds. Bonds gets a little bit wiggly. Heath Snyder throws a block on Levine. Levine not able to get there. And here comes Joshua Watson to the inside. 3 wide with Shane Davis in the middle. Oh, here comes Brian Young. All these guys are just, man, this is nuts. I love it.
Yeah, everything in the mid-pack is just absolutely bananas, and I promise you, if we get a late race caution, everything up front is going to look pretty freaking similar. I just think a lot of the guys up front have the track position and are content with kind of saving their tires, unless your name is Sean Conklin. But everybody else in the top 5 is single file. But, oh, man, Heath Snyder gets a little loose in the middle of the backstretch, almost comes down and collects Paul Bergoli. Good job from all those drivers to get away from there unscathed, and now Pergoli's trying to get the position away from Levine on the inside, but I think Levine's going to have a little bit too much of a run coming off the corner for Bergoli to do anything. Levine trying to follow Garcia through, who's trying to get by Jacob Schneider.
And we also got 3 wide, not that far behind them. Of course, Brian Young has Joshua Watson underneath him, and I do believe that is Junior Bobarima above him. So 3 wide, and a lot of times, I mean, that just doesn't seem to work out very well at this racetrack. As you can see, Joshua Watson not giving Brian Young a whole lot of room, but as we see still some double file racing as Justin Levine trying to work his way up into the top 5, battles with, I do believe, Jacob Snyder and Nicholas Broman. Still 3 wide. Oh, almost some contact. Brian Young and Bobarima touching a little bit here.
Man, the lap before, Levine made a crazy move around Garcia 3 wide to get 2 positions, then ducked to the inside of Nicholas Vroman trying to get that spot, and then he ducked it to the inside of Noah Bitts going into turn 1, 3 wide once again. Bitts and Vroman made contact. Vroman goes through on the outside, and now Bitts just about comes down into the right rear quarter panel of Levine in the middle of 3 and 4 as they're 3 wide coming off the corner with Garcia on the outside.
This is just absolutely nuts here. Justin Levine making some desperate moves here, some big risky maneuvers to try to see if he can get up here in the top 5. It looks like he gets clear of Bitts. I think Bitts probably thought better of this. He's like, I don't want to be in this. No. I mean, but of course, the battle's still on between Levine and Garcia. Heath Snyder as well battling with Bitts. You see Miller Bonds fighting with Jacob Schneider as well. I mean, there's battles going all over this place. I mean, it's just so hard to keep up with what is going on out here.
Yeah, it just seems like whenever you're trying to make the passes, the outside is the place to be, but where you really don't want to be is stuck in the middle. We saw that last lap by with Bitts, whenever he just kind of backed out of it, let Levine and Garcia get through 2 wide. And since then, it looks like that outside line is just a little bit better. I feel like you get such a good momentum off of turn 2, and then you can just pinch the guy down in 3 and 4, make him lift a little bit, and take the position as Conklin's lost a spot from Vroman. I think those tires might be hurting Conklin just a little bit, and he's stuck on the bottom now with Richard Garcia looking on his outside.
Yeah, that's not a surprise. I mean, that guy went from 15th to like 3rd in the span of a couple laps. I mean, you don't do that without having some sort of tire wear. So he's probably going to be trying to hang on to that race car. I mean, 30.355 last time from him. He was the slowest car in the top 10. So I know for a fact he's paying that price right now. He's got to be hoping for some sort of intervention, whether that be a caution or something like that to happen here, or some way for him to be able to cool those tires off. As we see Justin Levine trying to work his way by Conklin now, as well as Bitts and Snyder battling. Brian Young, I tell you, he's been a big mover here tonight, up to 11th place right now. Battle for the lead, though. Daniel Nanny, once again, tired of following Garrett Maines. He gets a little bit tight off of turn 2, has to lose all the momentum he had going out in the middle of the corner.
Yeah, Daniel Nanny had actually led the last lap just barely over Garrett Maines, but Garrett Maines was able to take it back on that outside line through 1 and 2. It just seems to be the preferred groove whenever you get side by side. But can Nanny mount another challenge, and can Vroman get up there? Vroman had fallen back on the restart. He's typically a big tire saver in the first couple laps and then kind of kicks it into gear towards the end of the run. We're definitely not anywhere near the end of the run, only 15, 20 laps into this one. But Vroman's starting to pick his way forward. He got past Conklin not too long ago, and Conklin is still sliding down the pack. He's still stuck on the inside line. I think he finally finds a hole right behind Noah Bitts.
Yeah, we'll see if that lasts. I mean, he's hopefully he's cooled his tires down a little bit here. I mean, he's falling back to 8th. I hope we don't fall back any further than that. Of course, lap time wise, he has kind of, I think, stabled. He's kind of stabled himself a little bit here, as we see Bitts battling with Justin Levine. And looks like a lot of the tire wear has started to take hold on a lot of these drivers. About a half a second of fall off for most of the field at the moment, as we see no one, I think, is saved. I haven't seen a lick of anybody really trying to save tire.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's just racing super hard for every little position they can get. And, I mean, it looks like somebody makes a great move to get to the front 4, front 5, and then they put themselves back on the bottom of the racetrack, and somebody gets to their outside, and then they just start getting freight trained to the back. I mean, it's almost like an inverse of Martinsville, where you want to be on the bottom of the racetrack, and if you get stuck on the outside, you just start going backwards. It's literally the complete inverse, as we see people like Heath Snyder and Justin Levine use the outside line to their advantage, get around multiple really, really fast cars, a couple Ryko cars in Sean Conklin and Noah Bitts, and now they're sitting 4th and 5th, but now Levine looks to the outside of Heath Snyder trying to get P4 away, as Vroman's taking P2 away from Daniel Nanny on the outside.
And you talked about it, that Roman was kind of a tire saver, and it looks like that is definitely the case right now, as he's going to get that run on the high side of Nanny. Down the backstretch, it looks like Nanny's going to fall right in behind and possibly could even be challenged by Justin Levine here. No, I mean, I kind of mentioned it earlier as well about that bottom side. It's just so difficult to drive down there, I think, in the later runs. It gets so loose. So I think that the middle groove to the top groove is probably the place you're going to want to be, especially later. We see 3 wide in the mid-pack. Heath Snyder under a tremendous amount of pressure from Conklin and Richard Garcia. Here comes Junior Barbarima as well as Jacob Snyder.
Yeah, like I was saying, Heath Snyder was just in 4th place, gets passed by one guy, then gets passed by another 5 just because he gets put in the wrong lane, gets stuck in the sucker hole in the middle, and they're just going by him on both lanes, inside, outside, every single opportunity. But now we've got a race for the lead as Nicholas Roman's looking to the inside of Garrett Maines down the front stretch, and he's got help from the 30 car of Daniel Nanny.
Yeah, it looks like Nanny, though, switching lanes once again and gives Garrett Maines a little bit of a push. Roman loses the momentum. It's just incredibly hard to pass. Here comes Levine. With the change of momentum, he's going to try to take advantage as Levine goes side by side for the 3rd place position. Not quite able to get it, though. It just seems like I was saying earlier, it's incredibly difficult to make passes on the bottom at this track. The energy just stalls out down there.
Yeah, I think Roman noticed that because on the front stretch, he tried to go high on Maines, but the energy just kind of stalled whenever he went up the racetrack. He was not able to keep that momentum, but then he runs the outside line through 1 and 2, tries to get some clean air on the nose of that Ryko Ford, and can he get the run down the backstretch to stick it to the inside? Somebody spinning off the inside, and I think he pounded the outside wall, then spins to the inside of the racetrack coming off at turn number 2. I think that's Alan Pajari.
That is correct. The 27 of Alan Pajari bringing the caution flag out. We're going to see exactly what happened. Doesn't look like he's got too much damage on that race car. But, I'm sure that's going to be a welcome gift for a driver like Sean Conklin, who had burned his tires up to get up back into the top 10. Of course, he had I think gotten a little bit better there. Let's see what exactly happened. You see, Pajari just got loose, and unfortunately, I think that's Justin Nanke. Unfortunately, Justin Nanke kind of finished him off. Nothing really I don't think Nanke could have did there, but still no. Pajari just got loose.
Definitely nothing Nanke could do there, and I don't think he's got any damage. It was a pretty minor hit there from Nanke, but going to have another round of pit stops. Everybody's going to put on some fresh tires. You said Sean Conklin, a big beneficiary of this. I say Heath Snyder because he was falling like an absolute rock. He's going to want some new tires on that thing. Big time. He was in P4 5 laps ago. Now he's in 13th. So there's a couple guys in the field that are happy to see this one.
No, I definitely agree. And I think that the key here is it seems to be tires. You know, it's very easy to burn your stuff up, and the running order here has been fluid all night long so far. I mean, 54 laps. We've seen guys go from to top 5 all the way back to 15th. It just seems like the running order is definitely not concrete, that's for sure. So guys are really, I think, learning some lessons about managing their resources.
Yeah, and the early part of the race is whenever you need to learn. I think that if that thing ran green, I think Roman might have had something for Maines. I think he did a really good job saving his stuff. But maybe a couple other guys will take that into account, maybe save a little bit more on this start of the race and just kind of, maybe fall back. Maybe if you're Roman, you fall back to 4th. Maybe you fall back to 5th, and you just save those front tires a little bit, and then you make a charge back up towards the field like you did that last time. You got to think that he's learned something on that first run.
No, definitely, for sure. And I think one driver that did learn a lot was probably Conklin, though. I hate to keep mentioning his name, but he learned how to drive through the field very, very quickly. If we come down to a late race run, a 15-lap shootout, watch out for Conklin. He is going to fly through the field. That's for sure. Of course, let's do a quick rundown of the top 10 as it stands right now. Garrett Maines has led almost every lap here tonight. Nicholas Roman, of course, sits in 2nd. Daniel Nanny in 3rd. Justin Levine sits 4th. Noah Bitts is in 5th. Jacob Snyder sits 6th. Richard Garcia, what a night for him. He's in 7th. 8th place, Joshua Watson. Paul Bergoli in 9th. Junior Barbarima in 10th. Let's look at the top 10 right now. As pace car lights have gone out, we're getting ready to get this thing back underway. I tell you, if you don't got popcorn or a drink beside you, you better go get it now because you don't want to miss this.
Yeah, this race is going to kick off here pretty soon. I know I mentioned the modified pack racing that you'll see for the first 20 laps. We've seen it from the mid-pack on back, but everybody up front has just kind of been saving tires. I still think we're at the portion of the race where you're going to see some tire saving, because if we do run green, it's going to be a long run before you take a pit stop. So I got to think the guys up front still won't be quite as racy. Maybe somebody will try to take the lead and get the clean air, but I got to think a lot of these guys are still going to be biding their time, making sure they save the tires. I think Maines is really only killing his tires whenever he's defending somebody. I think he's saving until somebody makes a move, and then he just kicks it into high gear to keep the clean air on the nose of that Ford. But we'll see on the restart if Nicholas Roman makes a charge at the beginning, or if somebody like Daniel Nanny in the second row can make something happen.
Yeah, and just to mention for the audience, of course, out there, the fuel window is roughly 60 laps. So that means we are not good to make it to the end on gas. We're, I think, have definitely a few laps extra that they'd have to save. It's impossible, I think, for anyone to save that amount of fuel. But if we see a caution in the next 20 laps, I think that could make it possibly feasible to make it to the end here. As we see getting ready to enter the Geico restart zone, Garrett Maines gets the green flag, and there it is. Another great restart from the 12 machine of Maines. Side by side for second place, Roman being pushed by, of course, that is Levine. And right behind Nanny is, I do believe, Bitts. So definitely a lot of cooperation going on here as, of course, Maines drives away onto the backstretch.
Miller Bonds just had a crazy save in the back of the pack. Could have taken out multiple drivers. He was able to hold on to it, but went way back to the back. Unfortunate there for Bonds on the new tires, spinning them out already. But it looks like we got a side-by-side battle as Daniel Nanny's getting challenged from Noah Bitts, who came from the 5th place position on this restart, now challenging for second.
Yeah, definitely some big battles going on right here. Is, of course, Nanny getting that big run up on the top side. Bitts getting a little bit tight up into 1 and 2. And fortunately, no contact. That could have been easily some contact there as Bitts had to get out of the gas massively. And unfortunately for him, he falls out of the podium. But what can he do here? Daniel Nanny up to second. Been fast all night long. Of course, Roman, very good on the long runs. You see 3 wide. Further back, Sean Conklin taking the apron 3 wide. A lot of people might not let him up, but it looks like I think Jacob Snyder decided to let him up.
Yeah, Sean does not care about his tires whatsoever. As Richard Garcia gets the wall coming out of turn number 2, man, he was in a battle there, kind of got a little bit of contact, pushed up in the wall. Luckily, he's able to keep that thing straight, no damage on that vehicle that I can tell, but man, still, again, tight racing throughout the field. Noah Bitts on the lap before in 1 and 2 just kind of lost the nose, was not able to hang on to the inside of Daniel Nanny. And Nanny's got the run right now, and Garrett Maines coming down the front stretch. He might peek to the inside, but it looks like he's going to think better of it, just save his tires a little bit and duck back in line behind Garrett Maines before they get down to the corner and just try to mount another charge where hopefully, just maybe, he can get a bigger run that he can actually take to try to clear Maines within 1 corner.
I'm seeing a lot of crazy battling going on further back here. Of course, this is back here in 15th. Jose Acosta battling with Brandon Edstrom, and I do believe Corey Insing. So a lot of stuff. Brian Young as well involved in this. I mean, they are 3 wide. They almost had some contact. I mean, these guys are absolutely doing more taking than they are giving. I'll tell you that for a fact. Of course, we are now started lap 61, verging on 3 wide. Still back here. Oh, contact with, I do believe, Edstrom and Jose Acosta. Looks like they keep it straight, though.
3 wide for second place is Justin Levine's looking to the outside of Daniel Nanny, who's looking to the outside of Nicholas Roman. That middle line's not where you want to be. Daniel Nanny found that out, ducks back to the inside under Nicholas Roman. And now Justin Levine still side by side with Roman for P2. Got that preferred outside line. Can Levine do anything with it? And can he get up here to challenge Garrett Maines? Going down into turn number 1, Levine powers it by on the outside, tries to get to the outside of Garrett Maines, also through the middle of the corner. It looks like he's going to do it. He's got the outside quarter panel of Garrett Maines going down the backstretch. And now Justin Levine takes the lead.
What a job to Justin Levine. I mean, he saw a little bit of a wiggle there on the exit of turn 2, but he was able to keep the momentum. And he takes the lead. Can Maines fight back? As this is the first time, I think this is the first time that Maines has had to deal with dirty air. How does his race car handle this?
It is, and he's stuck on the bottom of the racetrack as Nicholas Roman goes to his outside. Can Roman get to the outside of Levine? No, Levine throws the kind of slider coming off the corner, but that's going to let Roman get the inside of the racetrack going down into turn 3. How hard does Levine pinch him going into the corner? He kind of gives him a wide berth at the initial turn in, kind of brings it down towards the middle, the apex of the corner, and then wraps it off the outside really well as Garrett Maines drops another position behind Noah Bitts, but he looks to the outside, tries to get that spot back.
This has just been absolutely crazy to see. Of course, Maines had led almost all the first parts of this race, and now is going to try to work his way back up. Very wiggly there on the top as he battles with Noah Bitts, as well as you see Richard Garcia pushing I do believe, Nicholas Roman. So all kinds of battle. Here comes Maines back for the lead. He's on the inside. Big run on the exit at turn 4. He gets a little bit tight on Levine. Levine tries to pinch him down. As let's see who leads this lap. I do believe Levine.
It's all going to be about who drives it in deeper into turn number 1. Levine gets him just a little bit on entry. Can he keep that momentum all the way around the outside of the racetrack? And can Vroman get to the outside of Garrett Maines before they get off the corner? He does. That's going to put Garrett Maines side by side for second. And Levine's going to give himself just a little bit of breathing room as Roman's working his way back up to the P2 position, trying to hold it off from Garrett Maines.
This has just been absolutely nuts here tonight at Las Vegas. I'll tell you what, this is looking a whole lot like gambling. Who's going to take a roll on the roulette table? And it looks like Justin Levine is definitely going to see if his number comes up, as they are side by side behind him. And that's probably exactly what he wants. He wants to jump up between the different lanes, give one, just like plate racing, give that guy behind you some draft, keep them side by side. But it looks like Vroman wins the battle out on Maines.
Yeah, and a little bit of that is who are you giving dirty air to in the middle of the corner. We saw Levine go into the corner very high, kind of dirty airing Vroman, who gets a really good run off the corner, and then duck it down to the inside to make sure that he just gives Garrett Maines a fresh dose of dirty air through the center of the corner. And you saw it hurt Maines. He got a little loose coming off the corner, almost got it up into Vroman, had to lift a little bit, and now it's opened the door for Richard Garcia to get to the outside of Maines for P3, as Vroman's now free to P2.
One thing I've been noticing, though, from Justin Levine, he keeps diving it on the apron on the front stretch. I don't think that's a good idea. I think he might be possibly hurting his tires. He's also opening the door for Vroman to get above him, and it seems like that's the weak spot. That's where he's vulnerable. If Vroman's able to get that hood above that race car, I think he might have a chance of taking the lead.
You might be right, but he's not able to do it that time by. He looks to the inside of Levine as Richard Garcia is trying to look to the outside of Vroman coming off of turn number 2. Levine just barely keeps it off the wall, and now Vroman has lost that momentum coming off the corner. He took the risk, he took the gamble of going down to the inside line in 1 and 2, and it has not paid out. He's going backwards. Garrett Maines now gets to the outside of Vroman, takes that spot, and is kind of looking to the inside of Garcia, but he's just going to have to settle for third.
Wow, that was so close. I mean, you could tell Garrett Maines definitely professional. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knew exactly how far away he could get from Richard Garcia without hitting him. Of course, Garcia, now highest running order he's been all night, up to second place. Can he challenge Justin Levine? He seems like he's got a really fantastic Ford. We'll have to see. Of course, very good on the short run. It looks like he's got possibly a good mid-run race car as well, as he is going to try to get above Levine here on the exit of 4.
It's not going to quite happen in that corner, though, but he does get a pretty good run off of the center of the corner. Can't quite get to Levine, though. Uses that draft, gets all the way up to his bumper, but not quite able to do anything with it. Can he just throw it to the outside of Levine in the middle of the corner? No, he ducks back in behind Levine through the center of 1 and 2, and is just going to follow him in the draft all the way down the backstretch. Not able to make a move into 3 either. He just does not have that pull up, and he's got Garrett Maines breathing down his neck, kind of looking to the inside, going into turn 3, but it looks like Garcia is going to shut the door.
And this is exactly what Justin Levine wants. He wants those guys to start battling each other. Speaking of battling, we see a little bit further back, there is a battle going on. Shane Davis fighting with Nicholas Vroman. Vroman, who was up here battling for the lead not long ago, has fallen back outside of the top 5 and is now possibly going to lose 7th.
Yeah, Vroman's starting to skate back a little bit ways. I'm kind of surprised. I thought that he would save his tires a little bit more, but he kind of went at it at the beginning, just got shuffled to the wrong lane, wasn't able to make anything happen, and just started falling back positions. But now he's found himself back on the outside, trying to get a couple of those positions back. It just seems the outside's where you want to be. As Garrett Maines, he knows it. He tries to go to the inside of Garcia, and then switches it back on the outside, and they're 3 wide for second as JR Barbarema comes down on the inside. Who does Justin Levine block in the middle of 1 and 2? It looks like he's just going to run the middle, tries to get a good run off the inside of the racetrack as they're still 3 wide for second place.
Wow, this is just absolutely crazy. Problem for Brian Young as he's sideways down on the apron now. He hits the inside wall. Do want to shout out as well Lucas Abreu for subscribing or following us. What a wreck there for Young. Unfortunately, no caution is going to come out for him. The battle is still on for the lead. Garrett Maines almost pushing Justin Levine into turn 1. That's, I think, a very valid strategy. You want to push him into the corner faster than he wants to go, but where did Barbarema come from?
I mean, I don't even know where he was running before all this happened, but he's found his way up to the P3 spot, looking on the outside, but Garrett Maines is looking to the bottom in 3 and 4, and it looks like he drives it in so deep on Levine that he's going to clear him through the entry of the corner and take P1 back. Garrett Maines fell back to P4. Now he's back to P1 after only about 10 laps, but Levine looking back to the bottom, then switches back to the top, not quite able to get there on Maines.
This has just been absolutely stunning. Such an impressive race for Justin Levine, trying to take the throne from Garrett Maines, but Maines says, give me my crown back. I'm going back to the lead. As we see some guys hitting the wall a little bit further back in the pack. I do believe some drivers starting to struggle. Tire wear is becoming more and more significant. Over a half a second of fall off. Oh, Paul Bergoli almost gets into Shane Davis. Oh, we do have some contact. Shane Davis sideways as he saves it. What a save.
Rocket League, what a save. Justin Levine, though, looks to the outside of Garrett Maines in turn 1 and 2. I can't believe he got to his corner panel. He's there on the outside of Garrett Maines once again. Second burst, same as the first. Justin Levine on the outside of 1 and 2 takes the lead back from Garrett Maines.
What a race. Justin Levine, very much impressive. I'm sure Garrett Maines is probably like, where did this guy come from? This guy is looking very impressive out here, taking the throne back. I mean, he has said, hey, give me that crown. I'm going to lead this race here on lap 75, as we still have quite a bit of racing left to go. Of course, we have the fuel window has opened as well. Do we possibly see any takers? Of course, let's see how long we've been. So far, 21 laps in. I think we're still going to see some guys probably definitely not choosing to come down pit road anytime soon, but still, that is something that could happen. If we see a caution, if these guys start to get to where the tires are too worn out and a caution does come out, we will be good to go.
Yeah, I think we're good for another 20, 25, 30 laps before anybody comes down for green flag pit stops. Even if the tires are crying, you just can't give up that track position and go a lap down, especially whenever it's a big pack like this. I mean, we're still separated from first to maybe like 30th. First to 24th is 3.2 seconds of a gap. That is unbelievably tight for a mile and a half. As now Garrett Maines is looking back to the inside of Justin Levine, coming off a 4. And look at Nicholas Vroman. He's come back from 7th place. He's come back from the dead to maybe challenge for the race lead as they're side by side in front of him, going down into turn number 1. Who comes out of it better on the other side? Levine on the outside, Maines on the inside. Maines with just a little bit of a wiggle chases Levine up the racetrack. They're both just skating it off the exit of the corner. Garrett Maines still has the side draft going on Levine as Vroman doesn't know where to go. Does he pick the bottom? Does he pick the top? It looks like he's just going to back up for now as Garrett Maines again drives it deep into turn 3, trying to slide. Justin Levine coming off the corner, and he takes the lead back from Levine.
Yeah, I think this is all according to plan for Nicholas Vroman. I think that Vroman fell back to 7th on purpose. He fell back to 8th just because he knew that I could save tire. But you've talked about it before, how he's good at saving tire. Well, I think that's exactly what the game plan was. He's like, I'll fall back. Let these guys. Oh, big hit on the wall from, I do believe, Joshua Watson.
I think that's
unfortunately, it might actually have been Conklin. I think you're right. Conklin. Saw the pink, and I thought that was Watson, but no, that is Conklin. Looks like he's going to be able to keep going. I'm curious how much damage that's going to cost. Could maybe have bent his wheel a little bit here, so keep an eye on that race car.
Garrett Maines has kind of learned his lesson a little bit. Going into 1 that time, Levine was trying to get to the outside once again, but Levine has passed Maines the same way going into turn 1 twice on this run, and I think Maines was like, all right, I can't give you the outside once again. There's no way I can give you the outside in turn 1 3 times. And he doesn't do it that time by Levine. Again, this time, coming off a turn 4, though, he's going to get a good run. Has Nicholas Vroman tucked up under his back bumper. Does Levine look to the inside this time, going down into turn 1? No, he still is peeking his nose to the outside, throwing it in there deep, using all of the racetrack up to the 3rd lane. Haven't seen many people go up there yet as Garrett Maines gets a little wiggly off the corner, but it doesn't look like Levine's going to be able to do anything with it as he wiggles it down the backstretch.
Wow, did you see that wiggle from Justin Levine? I think he was waving to us up here in the broadcast. Wow, this has been insane racing here for sure. Nicholas Vroman, though, I think has probably the best tires up here in the top 10. One driver that's been really moving through the field, I'm kind of impressed, Jose Acosta. Now up to 10th. He's side by side with Joshua Watson right now, as well as another driver we haven't talked about, Alex Murray. He's up in 11th.
Sorry, Levine looked to the inside of Maines, and that was not the move to make it. It's actually going to cost him another spot, maybe 2, maybe even 3, as he's side by side now with Noah Bitts for the P3 position. Levine has dropped all the way from 2nd to 4th. Looked like he was just trying to make the move on the inside, but this late on the tires, it's just going to be so difficult to do. You kill your run, and it just depends. Can you save your tires more so that you can make the bottom lane work later in the run? Is that what Nicholas Vroman did? Can he get to the inside of Maines and make it work? I'm not so sure. I think it's just going to be too tough. I think Maines could just pinch him down in the center of the corner and just not let him get that run off. It's all going to take a mistake from Garrett Maines to allow Nicholas Vroman the chance, but it actually looks like he's ducking to the inside, then back in line. I think he knows the inside's just not the way to go.
Speaking, all I heard from all you just said was depends, and I think some of these guys are getting ready to need some depends. That's the way this race has been turning out right now, and how much these tires have been wearing. I definitely think they're going to start to get even more wiggly. I mean, we're seeing fall off has been now almost a second I mean, what is going to give here? As Conklin drives it to the inside of Justin Levine, as well as we see some drivers still driving their way to the front. I've talked about Alex Murray. He's now up in the top 10. He's coming. Looking at his lap times, he's faster than everybody in front of him.
Yeah, I think what's going to give is somebody's going to wreck somebody. I don't think that there's anything else that could give at this point. Somebody's probably worn out their tires so bad that they wash up into somebody. But Roman looks to the inside of Maines, cuts the dog leg completely, gets all the way alongside Maines before they even get to the corner. Can he drive it in deeper than the driver of the 12? Doesn't quite look like it. It looks like Maines has the run coming off the corner. Can Bitts get to the outside of Roman before they get to the exit? And he does. Bitts is going to probably be able to take that P2 spot from Roman as his momentum has stalled.
And we've seen this from Broman quite a bit. We've seen him dive it in underneath Maines. We've seen him try that move a bunch, and it just never seems to pan out. So he's going to have to really try something different. He's been wildly successful at saving the tires and having some resources left to be able to make a move, but it has not been successful. So we're going to have to, I don't know, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board, figure something else out. I don't know what he can do, though, but here comes Noah Bitts. Bitts all over the back end of Maines. I talked about how good this driver is. Let's see if he has something for the 12 machine.
Yeah, it seems like the only guy that can pass the leader on the inside is Garrett Maines. And, well, he's in the lead, so you're just not going to get by him at this point on the old tires as Levine drops another spot to Daniel Nanny. Daniel made a really good move on the inside in 3 and 4, but it looks like Levine still got his quarter panel before they get to turn 1, and he's going to be able to wrap it around the outside. As long as he doesn't get loose once again, he should have that position away from Nanny, but Nanny drove it in really, really deep into 1 and 2, still not quite able to clear the 1 of Levine, as somebody else makes contact further back on the wall. I believe that was Schneider right behind them, who's side by side with Conklin.
Tire fall off has gotten insane right now. I mean, we're seeing 31-second laps from some of these drivers, 30.9s. I mean, it is definitely started to hit. I think these guys, the way they've been abusing their tires is really starting to pay a price. But Bitts is all over Maine still as they drive away from the rest of the field. I think the tires are worn out so much that side-by-side is hard to manage right now.
Yeah, I think the side. Oh, they're turning in the back of the pack. I couldn't tell who the Ryko car was, but the 17 goes around. That's Joshua Watson going hard into the inside wall, just about. Somehow saves it from keeping it out of there. I thought he was on a collision course for the inside of the racetrack. He does a good job keeping it off, but there was just about a massive accident towards the middle. That's Corey Insing, who's just able to kind of turn that thing back around before he got clobbered a couple more times.
Wow, that was definitely a crazy one right there. And right when I think these guys needed a new set of tires, they were about 30-something laps into this run, and we see 3 wide. Junior Barbarima, I think, was up there minding his own business, and I think Joshua Watson thought he was going to be able to get clear and fall in behind Junior Barbarima. But unfortunately, that did not happen, and these guys just vying for the same real estate, unfortunately. Let's take another look back at it.
It would have happened, but Barbarima hit the wall, and it completely slowed his momentum. Absolutely. I mean, if Barbarima doesn't hit the wall, Watson doesn't hit him.
Right
Look, he's
there,
clear.
yep, you're right,
He's completely
100%.
clear. Barbarima just drives it up into the outside fence, and it's easy to do this late in the run. You're on the outside, got put 3 wide all of a sudden in the middle of the corner, and you're on old tires that you've been running hard as hell throughout the entirety of this run. I'm really not surprised to see that kind of accident this late in the run. But obviously, everybody's going to come down and get 4 fresh Goodyear tires.
100%. Of course, we're going to be good on fuel. Let's take a quick step away, pay some more attention to our sponsors. I don't think we're going to get another chance if we don't, but we'll be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Both go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GridVision's coverage of Top Split NIS here at Las Vegas, and it has been absolutely insane. I know we're probably going to need some cough drops after this one, of course. My name's Brian Britt. I have Austin Edstrom as my co-commentator, Austin Darbyshire down behind the cameras. But here we go. Get ready to get set for some more crazy buck wild action out here as Garrett Maines once again is going to be controlling the field. Pace car getting ready to take a left turn down pit road as we speak. And here we go. Go ahead and get the heart rate warmed back up because we're about to get crazy up here in this booth. As these guys are definitely been crazy down there on the track. Green flag is back out in the air. Maines with another good start. Of course, Bitts, really good start there for him as well. Nanny side by side for second place. We got some new contenders up in the top 10 as well. Can Alex Murray come up here and possibly contend for the win?
I don't know. Alex Murray's been kind of dug himself deep in the field most of the race, but he's found himself up to P7, and it's all about being at the right spot at the right time, right? I mean, he hasn't been anywhere all race, but now finding himself in the top 10. Don't ever count Alex Murray out, but Noah Bitts has a huge run on the outside of the racetrack, gets around Daniel Nanny. Now he's looking to the inside of Garrett Maines, going into turn one. He's completely alongside of him before the corner. Does that 87 Ryko car get the lead before they come out, or does Garrett Maines pinch him down? He leaves him plenty of room on the inside of the racetrack for now, but Bitts slides up just a little bit before they come off. Does Bitts side draft him all the way down the back? No, he just pulls back in line in P2.
Yeah, definitely Bitts giving it his everything. You can just tell he's like, if I got to get this pass done now, otherwise it's not going to happen, because we've seen Garrett Maines be able to defend against that charge on the inside. The only person that has been able to pass Garrett Maines so far tonight has been Justin Levine. And I think that Maines, he's shoring up the armor. He's kind of filling in the gaps of his ship, if you will, so he's not vulnerable anymore. So I think Justin Levine had the best shot to dethrone Maines here. I don't know if anybody else is going to have that chance.
Man, are we broadcasting iRacing or Sea of Thieves? That looked like a really top-tier commentary for Sea of Thieves. But to your point, I think you're right. Levine's kind of been the only one to challenge him, but Levine passed him with the same move twice in 10 laps. I feel like that's Levine's only move that he's got against Maines to be able to take the lead. Has he showed his hand a little bit too early, doing that early in the race? I just kind of think it's going to be hard for him to, as soon as Maines sees that GridVision car in his back bumper, in that windshield, he's probably just going to know, all right, I'm going to go into turn one on the outside of the racetrack, make sure I just block this guy, because he can't pass me on the bottom. We've seen it. Levine tried to pass him on the bottom. Bitts has tried to pass him on the bottom. Vroman has tried to pass him on the bottom, and Nanny has tried to pass him on the bottom, and nobody has been able to make it work. So Maines is not going to give that outside up. We've seen him run on the outside of the racetrack through the tri-oval. Anytime somebody gets a move, forcing them down onto the apron, he lets them get all the way side by side with them before they come into turn one, and then just powers by on the outside like they weren't even there. So they got to make some type of crazy bonsai move to get to the outside of Maines, and I just feel like Maines is going to see it coming at this point of the race.
No, for sure. And I think you're exactly right. Very astute observation there. I think Levine definitely showed his hand early. I think it was too early. But here he comes. He's going to try again. Big run to the high side of Bitts. What a run for the one of Levine.
Yeah, Maines may have seen that move twice, but Noah Bitts hasn't seen it once. But now Levine is all over the back bumper of Maines again. Does he try the same move into turn one, or is Maines going to see it? Levine actually has a good run through 3 and 4. Maines washes up the racetrack just a little bit, but look at him. He's way up high. He's blocking Levine all the way down the front stretch, not giving him a lick of opportunity to get over his right rear quarter panel before they get to the corner. And actually opens the inside to Bitts, and the outside's open to Levine. They're 3 wide for the lead through 1 and 2. Who's going to come out the other end better? It looks like it's going to be Justin Levine on the outside. Nicholas Vroman. Oh, Garrett Maines gets turned by Noah Bitts. Hard back into the middle of the field. Garrett Maines Maines gets hit over and over again and slides back to the back of the field.
And this is a multi-car crash right here. Tons of cars involved as Garrett Maines he led over half of this race, and now he has gotten involved in a crash with Noah Bitts. Man, this is going to be one that definitely is going to be difficult to unpack because we saw a ton of, I mean, this had to be involved 10 or more drivers. As we see some drivers already coming to the pits with a lot of mandatory repairs, 3 wide right here. And I think just Noah Bitts coming up the side draft got a little too close. And we see even our system is having trouble keeping up with this accident. It involves so many race cars.
I just can't believe what I've just watched. I mean, honestly, a hell of a move from Levine. He got, I don't know, you would think that Maines would see it coming, and he did, right? He blocked him all the way down the front stretch, but having Bitts go to the inside threw a huge wrench in that. Maines had to pinch down Bitts to prevent him from losing the lead on the bottom, which opened the outside to Levine, gave him the run down the straightaway. Garrett Maines had conceded. He was like, all right, I can't do anything about that. Levine got to my outside. I'm just going to hold the middle. And then it just looked like Bitts came up the racetrack to side draft Maines and just kind of took him out in the middle of the straightaway. And obviously Maines just trying to save it from there on towards the middle of the backstretch, towards the end, takes it to the right, just grips up a little bit more than he expected. You see Bitts come up the racetrack just a little bit, tags the left rear. Obviously Maines is just trying to save it. You see those tires pointed to the right. Unfortunately, overcorrects just a little bit too much. Gets hard on the brakes, but it's just not enough as Daniel Nanny just clips his right front. Alan Pajari comes through, hits him hard, and then it's just along for the ride at that point. Garrett Maines with nothing he could do in that situation.
No, 100%. And a lot of drivers that were coming into that had they didn't have any time to react as well. So, I mean, he got pile drived after the fact, and unfortunately that's going to definitely, I think, possibly kill the chances of Garrett Maines. But then again, you can't write him off. I mean, we saw Roman deal with a similar situation, I think, when we first started calling this series. And he came back to still win the race, staying out on old tires. I mean, it still is possible, but I think Justin Levine's stock prices just went up quite a bit.
I think everybody else in the field other than Mains's went up. I mean, you got to think the doors just slammed wide open. I mean, we thought Garrett Maines had this thing won. We thought that he had every defense covered. All of a sudden, Levine makes a great move on the outside and gets a little lucky down the backstretch. I'm not going to lie. I feel like if that race runs green, or even if we get another caution, Garrett Maines is going to find his way back up to the front and challenge Levine for the lead again. We've seen him be able to pass on the bottom when nobody else can, but with him having so much damage, he's out of it. I don't care if he can finish 10th or not. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. He's not going to win the race, and that has opened the door for Levine. It's opened the door for Roman, Conklin, even J.R. Barbarema, who has somehow come from absolutely nowhere. He started 26th place, by the way. All of a sudden, we saw him towards the middle portion of the race, challenging for 4th, and now he's on the inside of the second row from nowhere. J.R. Barbarema has a legitimate shot to win the race, and even Noah Bitts, who didn't get much damage from that, has just as good of a shot as he did before.
I mean, Brendan Himmel, where did he come from? I mean, this guy, 19 car, he's up in the top 5. I mean, we'll see where exactly he started. I mean, he started in 27th. I mean, he's up in 5th. 27th, he's up in 5th. I mean, we got a lot of cars that, weren't up here earlier in this race, and now they have a shot at possibly winning this thing. I just can't wait to see what the outcome is here. Of course, we now are coming up to less than 30 to go. Pace car lights are out. And wow, or more than 30 to go, I should say. My heart rate is up through the roof after seeing that crash. But here we go. Justin Levine enters the green flag, or the Geico restart zone. Green flag flies once again, and he automatically goes down to the apron. What a start there. Justin Levine leads them into turn 1, side by side for 3rd place. Nicholas Broman gets clear for 2nd.
Yeah, you're from South Carolina, so I don't expect you to know how to do math, but hard racing from 3rd on back, side by side, all throughout the field. Barbarema to the inside of Conklin. Oh, man, somebody spinning towards the inside. Luckily saves it before he gets down to the inside wall. Drifts back on the racetrack. Couldn't quite tell who that driver was in the back, but hell of a save from him. What a save, what a save, what a save. Rocket League times 3. But Justin Levine trying to hold on from Nicholas Roman. Goes down to the inside. That's going to open the door. Roman just about got to his right rear corner panel, but Levine shuts the door before they get to the corner.
So we're just going to gloss right over that. You just insulted me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
3 wide, though, right now, as you see Alex Murray up on the top side. Ty Polito, I do believe, is well involved. Brandon Himmel. We see a lot of guys just battling so hard. They can taste victory lane right now as Noah Bitts tries to block the middle lane. I think that's Brendan Himmel trying to get by. He moves to the top or to the bottom behind Jacob Snyder. Still battling for the lead, though. Vroman trying to look for any weakness that Levine shows.
Man, I'll tell you what, Levine was getting absolutely trolled by some crazy troll in his Facebook live chat yesterday, and now he's in the lead. Guy was talking about Levine not being any good running fit to Ryko guys, but now Levine's in first ahead of a couple of Ryko guys. That troll must be eating his hat right now.
I mean, knowing you, that probably was you.
Oh, man.
That was probably you.
No comment.
Oh, but what a race we've seen as here comes Vroman. He's going to try to get the run on the high side. He's got the momentum out of 2. He checks it up as Levine throws a little bit of a block there. Bitts as well side by side with Conklin. Conklin has been doing awful on pit road all night long, but just with how fast he is, he's been keeping himself up into contention. He's now up in 4th.
Contact towards the back of the pack off of 4. I thought Acosto was going to go lawnmower, and he was crazy sideways coming off the corner as he got hit. Luckily able to save it, but he gets stuck in the sucker hole, able to make it down in front of Joshua Watson now in the middle of 1 and 2. But man, the racing is just kicking off everywhere we look. Now we're actually under 30 laps to go. Crazy what somebody with a math degree can do, but Justin Levine still holding on to that P1 spot over Roman.
I hate you. Jacob Snyder there right now side by side with Brendan Himmel for that 7th place position. You love to see these guys. We never even heard of this guy. I don't know who that is. He's up in here battling for the top split race right now as they go 3 wide. Bitts in the middle again. And 3 wide at this racetrack has been somewhat of a big question mark. As you can see, Snyder kind of side drafts Bitts a little bit. That's, of course, how Bitts cut into mains. What a race we're seeing right here as Jose Acosta is further back battles with Joshua Watson as well. You see Lawrence Shaughnessy, who had issues earlier in this race, battling with, I do believe, Brandon Edstrom. Seeing battles all over this racetrack. Of course, Levine in control. 1/10 of a second on Vroman at the moment. Junior Barbarima, where did he come from? Running some absolutely monster laps right now. 29.843 last time by. Very quick lap. Alex Murray, one of the fastest laps right now, 29.8. Brandon Himmel, 29.7. We're seeing some monster laps right now from these drivers.
Man, I don't know whether to look in the middle of the pack to see the crazy 2-3 wide racing that we're seeing lap after lap, corner after corner, or if I should keep it up front and look at Levine and Vroman go head to head, because Vroman has just been stuck under Levine's back bumper this entire run. I got to think that he's got to be saving tires, thinking about his move. How do I get past this guy? Where can I build the run? Where can I build the momentum to kind of stick it to his outside? Because I just don't think that inside's going to work. But it looks like he's looking to the inside on the apron, not quite have the run there in the front stretch going down to turn 1, and he's just going to tuck back in line once again. Try to peek that left rear under Levine in the middle of the corner. Levine covers him back off as they come through the exit of turn number 2, still giving him that dirty air, but that dirty air turns into a huge draft down the backstretch that Vroman has utilized lap after lap to pull right back up to Levine's bumper every chance he gets. But it just has not been enough at this point for Vroman to kind of make a move, and you got to think what we were talking about earlier. Vroman, expert tire saver, especially whenever he's in position to win a race late in the going, saves his tires beautifully through the first couple laps in a run, first 10, first 15, just hounding the guy in front of him, making him go faster than what he really wants to go. And that's exactly what he's doing to Justin Levine right now, as Vroman still has JR Borborema right up his back bumper, which is probably forcing him to go faster than he wants to go, as Borborema's trying to look to the outside in 3 and 4, not quite able to do it though, as Vroman had too good of a run through the center of the corner.
I'll tell you one driver we need to really keep an eye on. Brandon Edstrom right now in the 21 machine has been absolutely motoring his way through this field. He is on 10-lap newer tires than the rest of the field. Just got by Ty Polito and now is up to 9th. 10-lap fresher tires, that's a big deal. I think that we could possibly see Brandon Edstrom come up here and possibly challenge for top 5 positions here.
And with 23 to go, you got to think that everybody in front of him is just going to get worse and worse as it goes on, and that advantage that he has is going to go up tremendously. It looks like Roman actually had finally a run down the front straightaway, not quite able to do anything with it, though. Levine was playing a little bit of chicken on the front stretch, and that's going to allow the 22 to get under Nicholas Roman. I believe that's Alex Murray looking to the inside.
Alex Murray, of course, started deep in this field, way back. I do believe outside of the top 20. Is now up here in the top 5, possibly even getting ready to challenge for the lead as he's side by side with Bobarima. It gets a little bit tight out of the exit of 4. Loses a little bit of that momentum. That gives Brandon Himmel a chance as Himmel has the optimal line. That top side has been strong all night long as the plot just continues to thicken here as we're coming up to 20 to go.
And you can see in 1 and 2, the front couple of cars are kind of migrating to that middle lane, trying to defend from that outside move. Because look, if Levine gets put on the inside by Roman, Levine's not going back to 2nd. Levine's not going back to 3rd. He'll be lucky if he goes back to 4th because he's going to get freight trained on the outside like we've seen every single leader do. Even Garrett Maines, he got shucked back to 4th place whenever he's the fastest car on the racetrack and got stuck to the inside by Levine one time. So if Levine gets stuck on the inside, he is going crazy far backwards. And we saw the same thing with Alex Murray just a minute ago. He was side by side with Nicholas Roman, and now he's lucky to be side by side for 5th. And multiple drivers spinning to the apron off of turn number 2. It looks like the caution's not going to come out though, as they both save it, come back on the racetrack, and we're still green.
I think that was Alan Wilson in the 23 machine having some issues further back. He comes back onto the racetrack. I think he has gotten it saved. You stay green now, of course, less than 20 to go, coming up to 18 laps to go. And still side by side, 3 wide is Brandon Edstrom on the newest tires. Oh, a big spin almost there. What a save. Who was that?
That was Conklin there on the inside, just able to hang on to it. And then Shaughnessy had a little bit of contact in the middle of the corner. And then Roman almost had a run on Levine for the lead. But Levine threw a heavy block out of turn number 2. Made sure that he gave a fresh dose of dirty air to Nicholas Roman on the outside. But that allows J.R. Barberema to the inside of Roman before they get to turn number 1. Can he clear him before they get to the exit of the corner? It doesn't seem that way. Roman is still all over the back bumper of Levine as Barberema's trying to challenge for the race lead.
This has just been absolutely crazy to see for sure. Brandon Edstrom, speaking of him, he's now up to 5th place. Has gotten by Noah Betts, has gotten by Brandon Helm. Can he get up here and possibly tussle for the lead with the newer tires? Very much a possibility. Last time by, he was over a 10th faster than our leader, Justin Levine.
And he's in dirty air. Brandon Edstrom has come from absolutely nowhere. I haven't talked about him all day. I haven't seen him at all, even though he's got my last name, my namesake. I haven't given a rat's ass about him the entire night, but now he's in the top 5 on the newest tires. Can he make something happen here with 17 laps to go, or is he just going to be stuck on that inside? Even with the newer tires, that inside is tough, especially whenever you've got the dirty air from J.R. Barberema right in front of you. If he gets the run, does he stick it 3 wide? Does he go to the inside, or does he just stay right behind that 13? I can't quite tell you at this point. I don't know what I would do. But, I mean, I'm lucky I'm not the one making the decisions. I just get to call this crap, and it is amazing.
It has definitely just been fantastic. We almost saw everything break loose there for a moment. I saw Alex Murray give a push to Nicholas Roman. And, of course, Noah Betts got into Alex Murray's rear end. As here comes Murray to the high side, tries to take it 3 wide, not quite able to get there. Here comes Brandon Edstrom to the bottom with the newer tires, 3 wide for 2nd place. But, of course, top side going to get the run.
Excuse me, Brandon Edstrom's trying to make it work, but they kind of drop back just a little bit from the 2nd place runner of Roman as Barberema's now stuck in the sucker hole. He goes back just a little bit as Brandon Edstrom clears him coming off of turn 2, but he's side by side with Murray for 3rd. How is this going to turn out between the 2? Oh, frick, I forgot their team name. I'm so crazy. Prodigy eSport drivers for 3rd place. Brandon Edstrom on the newer tires in the unpreferred line, or Alex Murray in the outside line. It looks like it's going to be Brandon Edstrom who's through to 3rd place.
I mean, Brandon Edstrom's a 10th faster average right now. I mean, he has definitely got the speed to possibly make a pass on the bottom, I think, for sure. I mean, if we haven't seen passing on the bottom been successful, here we go, side by side for the lead out of turn 2, and he maintains some momentum. Will he be able to stay side by side in 3? No, Levine gets a big run. He sends it in pretty hard on the top side, but Edstrom has been having a lot of success on this bottom. Can he keep it going? No, I don't think he's going to be able to maintain the momentum quite just yet. I think he's going to have to get above Levine, and Levine is not going to let that happen.
It's just about, has Brandon completely killed his stuff getting through the field? Can he still make that pass work, even though he's got old tires now too? They're still newer than everybody else's, but having to pick through the field like that, having to just drive your heart out, trying to get up towards the top 3 is going to take a toll on those tires. You can eventually even out the good out of them and be just as bad as the guys in front, as he's now side by side for P2. Almost a little bit of contact between Edstrom and Vroman on the inside. But it looks like they get off the corner just fine, as now Murray is going to push his teammate on the inside, tries to give him that little bit of a shove that he needs to get into P2.
Yeah, you can tell Alex Murray definitely prioritizing teammates there. I mean, you can't. Who can blame him? I mean, it's definitely an admirable quality to kind of course, promote your team, to try to help out your team. Oh, we got Shane Davis going around on the backstretch. I think that might have possibly, I think he saved it, but that was very a close situation. And they're still 3 wide right now. Shane Davis and Jose Acosta.
Levine almost lost it out. Oh, Acosta gets spun around in the back, but he looks like he's on the apron. It's not going to bring out a caution, as Levine's lost the lead to Edstrom. They're side by side entering 1, but the caution comes out. I don't know who was in the lead.
Yeah, I have no clue who was in the lead. I think Brandon Edstrom. I think he might have been the leader at the time of the caution.
Man.
This has been absolutely nuts, and you know what this means. We're going to have a less than 10-lap shootout here for the victory. Now, also, this means everybody's probably going to be possibly coming down pit road. Could we see some Hail Mary calls as we look back at the accident? Oh, we see Jose Acosta in the middle, 3 wide, unfortunately getting turned. I think he was loose. I don't think that was necessarily on the drivers that hit him. I think he just got loose out of the corner. We take one more look at this. You see Heath Snyder's right behind him. Maybe helped him out a little bit there. He takes a ride through the grass.
Yeah, I think Heath might have tagged him a little bit and got him a little loose. And at that point, Jose couldn't really do anything. Just was pointed to the inside, and unfortunately there was a car down there. So unfortunate there. I don't think that Shane Davis did anything wrong. I think Heath Snyder was just pushing it for everything that you got with 11 laps to go, and just got into the back of Jose as Jose was sliding across the racetrack, taking his normal racing line, coming out of the corner 3 wide. So hard to place any blame of that on Acosta. I think I'd probably put that mostly on Schneider there. But again, it's hard racing at the end of the race. Nobody's going to lift for anybody coming down to this point. But you were right. Brandon Edstrom had just gotten the lead from Levine before they came, or before that caution came out. And now they're going to come down pit road. It's all about who's going to come off pit road first. Does anybody try the 2-tire fire, or does everybody take?
That you stole it right out of my mouth there. I was thinking the same thing. Is that a valuable option? Is that something that could work? I know we've seen in days past that was not even a consideration, but now with this next gen, the way the tire model is, 2 tires can work. It might even help you be a little bit freer. I mean, is that something you think would work here, Austin?
I think it could. With how many, we don't have many laps left, but it doesn't look like anybody did it. And the big loser out of that is Justin Levine. Went from second to, I believe, 5th.
I think you're speaking too soon. Brandon Edstrom took 2 tires.
What?
9.4 seconds in the box here, as well as Nicholas Broman and Alex Murray and Jacob Snyder. I do believe Justin Levine, Sean Conklin, Lawrence Shaughnessy. A lot of these guys took 2 tires. I think what made a lot of their stops long might have been possibly having to fuel up a little bit more. Some drivers, I think, took less gas. So we're definitely seeing everybody pretty much in the top 10 is taking 2 tires.
Oh, my goodness. I need some time to calm down. I feel like I've been screaming for the last 40 minutes, if not more. I mean, my goodness. How about Brandon Edstrom, though? I mean, yeah, you put on the newer tires. You're able to work through the field because of the newer tires. But you still got to drive it right. You still got to pick the right lines at the right time. And you still got to use the momentum the right way. And to be able to do that, to pass this entire field, is unbelievably impressive there from Brandon Edstrom.
This is actually provoking a question for me right now. I'm seeing all these guys doing this to where they're of course scrubbing the tires and they're going down on the apron while they do it. I've been hearing that's an exploit. Have you heard anything about that?
Well, you're allowed to do it if you're not in a pro race.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm just saying. I didn't know. I wonder what the science is behind all that.
Apparently, whenever you create to warm the tires, right? If you bounce the tire, it warms the tire up more. So, for instance, if you run the outside of turns 1 and 2 at Iowa on your warm-up lap for qualifying, and you just abuse it over those bumps on the outside line, it actually warms up your tires way better. So that's basically what they're emulating here, going on the apron, then going back on the racetrack. They're creating bumps. They're creating skips on the tires of them going off the racetrack and back on it, on the banking, and that actually just heats up the tires a lot more, at least from what I've heard.
That's interesting.
I believe that's the science behind it.
Well, that's definitely very interesting. So that probably makes the two-tire call even more viable, just considering you're able to kind of get that new set or that new side of tires back up to somewhat of a similar temperature as the other side. Because you know that's one of the main issues when it comes to taking a two-tire stop is that one side is a lot hotter than the other, and you kind
Yeah,
of
and
equalize that by doing what they're doing.
uh, man, I'm sorry, I can't even like formulate my train of thoughts right now because this race has just been an absolute barn burner, and I
It's
feel
been
like
one of the funnest ones.
every race I've seen from Vegas in the last couple months has just been absolutely insane. I remember calling a league race a couple months ago that was maybe my favorite race I've ever watched in my life. That was at Las Vegas, barely any cautions, hard racing for the lead the entire way through, and that's about what we've seen tonight. I mean, there have not been many cautions, maybe 4. And for an NIS top split, that is not bad whatsoever. And I say that, and we're probably going to get 4 more by the time the
I
race
don't
ends.
know if that's possible to get 4 more. Maybe though. I mean, you got 3
Well,
green, white checkers
exactly.
possible. Yeah,
You got
yeah.
one more in normal time, and then we're gonna use all 3 green, white checkers. But I don't know. I also couldn't tell you who the hell is gonna win this race
Oh no,
because towards
me
the beginning
neither.
of this race, every single run, the first 20 laps, people have been saving that tire, saving a little bit of tire. Well, we're gonna have 6 freaking laps to go. Nobody's gonna be saving any tire anywhere, and everybody's gonna be bonsai, balls to the wall. Brandon Edstrom's gonna get the best jump. The leader just clears going into turn 1, it seems, every single time. I expect the exact same from Brandon Edstrom here. But after that, Vroman is going to have a huge draft down the back off of Edstrom. Does he immediately take it to the inside entering turn 3? Does he bide his time? Or does he get a challenge from behind from either Alex Murray or Jacob Schneider?
This could go any numbers of ways, but definitely has been just one of the most fun races I've ever watched. That's for sure. Top 5, definitely in iRacing history for me. As we get ready for the green flag to come out, pace car dipping down pit road. Brandon Edstrom, where did he come from? He's going to see if he could possibly steal the win here. Green flag is back out in the air. He's up through the gears. Jacob Schneider jumps down to the bottom, trying to get underneath Nicholas Broman. Alex Murray, of course, pushing his teammate. Now, how does that work out? Where do the loyalties lie being on teams?
And this is unbelievable because these guys have been running 20th. They've been running 15th. They have not been up towards the front of the field the entire night, and they're running 1-2 with 6 laps to go. Brandon Edstrom and Alex Murray from Prodigy Esports have done an absolutely phenomenal job all day long, keeping their nose clean and working their way up to the front of the pack.
Actually,
Brandon Edstrom is pulling away.
Actually, 1, 2, 3. Jacob Snyder's on Prodigy Esports as well. So they have a 1, 2, 3 right now. 3 wide for 4th place. Sean Conklin trying to do something here to get back up into the top 3, as well as we see Justin Levine as well on the bottom sends it. Lawrence Shaughnessy as well. Where did he come from? Up to 7th place. Yellow flag is back out, as I do believe we had someone just go around deep in the pack. And you know what that means. Green, white, checkered, number 1.
And that wreck was happening the entirety of turn 1 and 2. We're going to have to get a look back on that. I couldn't quite tell who that was going around, but they had it saved and then just got tagged again coming off the corner, unfortunately. But it happened just a little bit in front of this.
Brandon Hemmel, I do believe it was.
Tough break for Hemmel. We're going to have to get a look back because I don't know if he got loose by himself earlier in the corner or if he got tagged by somebody, but he definitely got tagged at the end.
Yeah, we see right here, he just loose. He just got loose on the entry, I think the 2 or 1 there, and there, well, almost, I think they almost missed him there. That could have been a whole lot worse. Oh, Alan Bajari having to take evasive maneuvers to avoid him there. Wow.
That's the second time we've seen a near miss like that tonight also. That was unbelievable from Alan Bajari to not just absolutely kill his race at that point. My goodness. I just don't know. Every time we look, we see something new and crazy happen. Kind of unfortunate we haven't seen a Kenny Powell moment. But I felt like we were about to see that right there with Bajari coming off the corner. But I mean, just phenomenal racing all throughout the field. Yeah, we got a caution there, but it's going to set us up nicely for green, white, checkered. You got to think Brandon Edstrom is ecstatic about that. I think somebody maybe could have built a run on him beforehand if we had the laps. But with only 2 laps to go, it's going to be a lot more difficult because he's going to get that jump. He's going to have the lead going into turn 1, and even if he doesn't get clear before he gets to 1, he's going to get clear before he comes off of 2, just being on the bottom lane whenever the power of the machine is just not completely clicking on all cylinders. You know, you're not at full speed, so that inside line is just way, way quicker because you're full throttle. So you got to think Brandon Edstrom is feeling really, really good about himself right now.
Oh, he's got to be. I mean, and the thing is about it, even in that last restart, we made it a lap or so. We would have had the white flag would have been out if that was a green white checkered, and I think Brandon Edstrom would have won the race if that was a green white checker. So if they do exactly what they just did, I think it could be a Prodigy 1-2-3. I think it's very easily a possibility that that's the case. Now, because it's a green white checker, though, that might not be the case if we have yet another caution. But I don't think that Alex Murray, I don't think that Jacob Snyder, I don't think they're going to sabotage their teammate here. I think the smart play would be to really work together. I would not allow anyone to come up here and take this 1-2-3 from us.
I would have to agree with you, but guess what? Whenever you're sitting P3 and you see that leader right in front of you, you have the opportunity to win an NIS Open on Friday night. Sometimes all you see is the checkered flag. You don't see the team alliances. You don't see all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a Jacob Schneider, to see an Alex Murray pull some type of bonsai move on Brandon Edstrom. Do I think they're going to do something that'll take Brandon out of the race? Absolutely not. But will they try to pass him? Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. They better, or else I'm going to be pissed off. I mean, I'm telling you, if I was in P2, P3, and I had Justin Levine in front of me, who I have been friends with on iRacing for a long time, full disclaimer, and I didn't try to pass him, I'd be upset with myself afterwards. I don't give a frick if the guy in front of me is a teammate or not a teammate at the end of this race. I'm going to run him hard and try to take that dub away from him.
No, I definitely hear you. I definitely 100% hear you. I mean, we definitely don't want an anticlimactic race, that's for sure. And I'll tell you, this whole race has been, I mean, just amazing. I mean, this is. I hope all of our audience out there is enjoying this, because we sure are. I tell you, this has been just so much fun. Of course, make sure you give us a like, a subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Facebook as well, and we're glad that we're able to put this broadcast together. We've been having a lot of bad luck, I'd say, when it comes to technical difficulties, but man, this makes up for it, wouldn't you say?
That and more. I mean, my goodness, this has been one of the best races I've gotten to call. I've had the privilege to call. I mean, this is absolutely insane, flag to flag. We have just seen great racing all throughout. Crazy. I mean, we're going to get a surprise winner because we probably all would have picked Garrett Maines before the race. He had lost the lead, got wrecked. Part of racing. It happens all the time. And, now we're going to see somebody who we did not, like I mentioned, man, Alex Murray was running 20th. Brandon Edstrom was running 20th. They were nowhere near the front of the field. They were picking their way up. They were working towards 10th. They were working towards 12th. They were getting up there. But
where they gridded at, too? 28th and 29th.
And they were stuck back there forever. And now they're running 1 and 2 with their teammate Jacob Schneider right behind them in third. I mean, an absolutely amazing performance from Prodigy. Even if they don't end up winning this race, you got to think that they're going to go back and be very proud of their performance tonight. Now, if they don't win this race, they're also going to be kicking and screaming and, extremely upset with each other, because it's probably going to be because somebody made a mistake like Junior Motorsports at Daytona. I mean, it's got to be something like that to take it away from one of these guys at this point.
But here we go. Pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to start green, white, checkered number 1. Of course, we do have the possibility of 3. So if we do not make it through this one, we'll have yet another one. And that definitely is, of course, going to make it even more intense. Of course, everybody's good on fuel. Everybody's good on tires. And here we go. Pace car getting ready to take that left turn out of turn number 4. Brandon Edstrom, can he do it? Does his teammates, do they get selfish? We'll have to wait and see. Does Sean Conklin, he's been really quick, been really aggressive. Does he make something happen? Does Nicholas Vroman make something happen? Pace car's down and away as we enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out in the air for green-white checkered attempt number 1 in Edstrom. Good start. Jacob Schneider tries to take second away from teammate Alex Murray. Side by side as we see some 3 wide further back. Richard Garcia turns Lawrence O'Shaughnessy. And this probably is going to bring the yellow flag out. Big accident here. And yellow flag is out.
Yeah, Garcia went to the inside on the apron to take that position away, and Shaughnessy didn't give him a lot of room to let him up, but he gave him the car width. He gave him the inside line in the corner. And I couldn't tell if Garcia slid up, if there was some net code, but I don't know. It was just tight, hard racing on a green, white checkered, but man, I want to see that one run green.
Yeah, I did as well. Unfortunate to see that accident there with Lawrence Shaughnessy. And I didn't even a little bit of air in between those 2 drivers as well. As we see definitely look like there was a little bit of distance in between those two drivers. So it might have been some technical issues there on the racetrack as well. I think they might have had contact either way, and just intensity, rising. Of course, Shaughnessy was up in the top 10, now goes to outside of the top 20. That's got to be a heartbreaker there for that driver. Just a lot of bad luck. I'm always seeing Shaughnessy having bad luck.
Yeah, no kidding. And don't get me wrong, he could have done something a little different. He could have just conceded the position, but I mean, again, it's a green-white checker. Why the hell are you going to concede a position, especially in the top 10? And again, I think it was a little bit of netcode that kind of screwed him over because there was some room in between those two guys whenever Shaughnessy started spinning. So
Yeah.
it just kind of goes to that bad luck. And I've kind of sang Shaughnessy's praises in previous, previous broadcasts because I feel like most of the time it's just bad luck taking him out of the races, somebody else's mistake, kind of wrecking them early in the go-in, or something like today where netcode kind of takes him out towards the end of the race. But unfortunate for Shaughnessy, but he was having a good run up in the top 10. So I feel like you still got to hang your hat on that, but you got to look up towards the front. Where did Alex Murray go? He's in the 4th place position. He's fallen a spot, and that kind of opens the door for Sean Conklin. I was talking about Prodigy's going to be upset if they don't win this race. Well, the door has been opened for that to happen because Conklin on the inside, if he gets to the inside of the 2nd place driver of Jacob Schneider, which we have seen 3rd place do every single restart, then he's going to have the better run through 1 and 2. And if he can get clear before the exit of 2, my money's on Sean Conklin over Brandon Edstrom. And that's no diss to Brandon Edstrom, but Sean Conklin has probably been the 2nd best driver in NIS over the course of the year. I don't think the points show that, but he has been just a step behind Garrett Maines all year from what I've watched. And I got to think, if I'm Brandon Edstrom and I see Sean Conklin in my mirror coming to the white flag, I am super nervous.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, a lot of times, whether it's Garrett Maines winning, if Garrett Maines is not winning, it's usually Nicholas Roman or Sean Conklin, one of those two, or Daniel Nanny as well. I mean, but yeah, Conklin has definitely been the best, one of the best. I mean, like I think it's easy to say second, place when it comes to the second best driver when it comes to NIS here recently. Especially in the GridVision broadcast, I'd say. Just to kind of say that, as a little bit of a disclaimer. We don't watch the other open NISs, so I can't speak to those. But I know that the races that we call, he is definitely one of the top runners. Easy to say that for sure. And I'm not writing him off. I think Conklin could take this race win away. I mean, he's been fantastic at firing off. Hasn't been good at pit road. I'll say he's been really making a lot of mistakes on pit road here. This race in particular, but I still think that he has a shot here. I mean, that those pit road, mistakes haven't really affected his race as bad as they could have. If he had been pitting under green and had those mistakes, I think it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, pit road's done at this point. So and you mentioned the mistakes have dropped him back. They've had him fight in the middle of the pack from 4th to 7th, in that area, in that range all night, to where he hasn't had the clean air, but he's back up to 3rd place behind 2 guys who he was faster than on even tires. And again, he's going to have that inside line through 1 and 2. It all kind of depends on how heavy is Jacob Schneider going to pinch him through 1 and 2. Is he going to leave him a lane, or is he going to put it right on his door and side draft the ever-living hell out of Sean Conklin before they get out of 2? If I was Jacob Schneider with my teammate in front of me, I would be side drafting the heck out of Sean Conklin coming out of 2. But you really have no idea. If they come out side by side from that corner, you got to think Brandon Edstrom is going to be thanking his lucky stars.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to hope that, like you said, Schneider races Conklin and does, side drafts him, like you said, or that Conklin just maybe has his hands full with Murray as well. I mean, he just has to hope that he's preoccupied and is not able to really focus all of his resources on Brandon Edstrom. Of course, pace car lights are out. We're getting ready to start green-white checkered attempt number 2. And let's take a quick look down at the top 10 right now. Brandon Edstrom in the 1st place position. Jacob Schneider is in 2nd. Sean Conklin's in 3rd. Alex Murray's 4th. Nicholas Vroman's in 5th. Justin Levine is in 6th. Richard Garcia 7th. Noah Bitts is in 8th. Shane Davis 9th, or actually 10th. Ty Ippolito's actually in 9th. A little bit of fluctuation there, but definitely, I think anybody in this top 5 right now could possibly win this race, possibly even top 6, considering Justin Levine was definitely one of the favorites early.
Yeah, but I'd just be worried if I was starting on the outside line that far back. Kind of just got to find a hole through 1 and 2, hope you got the good run. But again, that pace car is about to pull down. We're not too far away from finding out, unless we get another green-white checkered. But here it comes. Pace car's about to take that hard left onto pit road here at Las Vegas, and we're going to get our winner here pretty soon.
That's right. Here we go. Barney, the pace car driver, going to be taking that left turn as we get ready to enter the Geico restart zone, and green flag is out for second, green, white, checkered. And already we got some guys switching lanes. Conklin able to get a really good launch. I think he might get clear of Snyder, and I think he does. And it looks like we got possibly another accident here, and the yellow flag will be back out once again here. And you know what that means. Green, white, checkered attempt number 3. We're going to use them all. If we got them, we might as well use them.
And that was probably the worst case scenario restart for Brandon Edstrom, honestly, because Sean Conklin got clear. He was completely clear coming off of 2. If that race ran green, I think Conklin catches him. I mean, he would have had the draft around the entire racetrack. He would have had every move in his arsenal up his sleeve to pull on Edstrom there that last lap. But that caution kind of saved him, and now puts Conklin in the less, I don't know, the less advantageous outside line. You're going to get a bad start on the leader, and you're probably going to get put too wide, just like he had put Snyder too wide going into the corner. And so I got to think now Alex Murray's kind of in that seat where he can kind of win this race for Brandon Edstrom as long as he pushes the issue with Sean Conklin down into turn 1.
Man, that accident, I was looking back at it a little bit there. Of course, it looked like it involved Maggie McGuire, Heath Snyder. Fortunately, some more of that air in between drivers here tonight. Unfortunately, it looks like the iRacing server is having a little bit of issues here. So that's unfortunate to see for sure. I also saw some secondary accidents. Joshua Watson and Daniel Nanny getting involved with one another, and I think Nanny's race is probably done. It's just heartbreaking to see these guys that have had such tremendous first halves of these races, and they just get absolutely demolished late.
And I wouldn't be... Whoa, our leaders just made a little bit of contact. I was a little worried Conklin was gonna damage Brandon there pretty bad. He hit his right front fender pretty hard, and I almost thought there was gonna be some damage on Brandon there, but it looks like they're all right. It was a pretty decent hit for it being under caution, but it looks like there's no damage. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the caution's probably just gonna come out in turn 1 again, and it's gonna gift the win to Brandon, because if the caution does come out, whoever's the leader is just gonna win this next one, because it is our third and final green, white, checkered. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm sure Brandon doesn't want to win it that way, but I mean, to win top split NIS 5,000 strength of field race, I mean, that's
it doesn't
pretty
matter
big.
how you win it. It doesn't matter how you win it. Before the green, white, checkers came on, I loved it whenever a caution came out with 4 laps to go and it gave me the free win. It doesn't matter. You come home with a checkered flag in the Friday night NIS Open, it does not matter how you get it.
No, 100%. Nobody remembers how you won it. They just like, oh yeah, he won it. And I mean, he also earned it as well. I mean, Brandon Edstrom, he earned it with his strategy as well. I mean, taking 10 tires when everybody else didn't that one time. I think that was kind of the move of the race. And as well, taking 2 tires and not as much fuel as everybody else was another move of the race for him. I mean, he made the decisions that led to him being up here in this league. So, yeah, I definitely don't want to hear anyone say he didn't earn it, because he definitely did.
Yeah, it's unfortunate these things kind of devolve whenever you get to the green, white, checkers. People are just pushing over their head and making boneheaded mistakes for 15th, 20th place, but it just is what it is, right? That's NIS, that's iRacing. I don't know. I hate whenever people for 20th just kind of start freaking out and losing their minds, because, I mean, who cares if you finish 18th or 22nd at that point? It's really not that big of a deal, and it kind of ruins the battle up at the front of the field, but I don't necessarily know if this one's ruined yet. I still think we could get a good 2-lap dash to the finish. Just hopefully that wreck doesn't come until the white flag is flown.
No, 100%. It is definitely got to be very frustrating for drivers that are up in the front of the field. They're like, hey, let's race it out, because I mean that's what all these guys are. They're racers, and and unfortunately those guys back there in 15th and 20th, they're racing it out too, but unfortunately they're not being, I guess, as rational as some of the other drivers are. I mean, because it's definitely frustrating. It is definitely, for sure. I think pace car lights should be going off this time by as Brandon Edstrom still trying to get those tires all warmed up. And we'll see how this kind of all ends. Definitely excited to see who's going to come home with this trophy, because, man, these guys have got to be, I think, probably physically tired as well as mentally drained. I mean, this track, even though it's a mile and a half, a lot of guys are like, oh, this is an easy track. I don't think this week has been easy. I think this week has been difficult. The way the cars have been really handling the slickness, the bumps of this racetrack, it has made this a stressful event. And I think that a lot of these guys are probably pouring sweat right now.
Yeah, you're talking about them pouring sweat, them putting everything into it, and them being tired at this point. Well, I got a freaking headache from yelling all night, so I don't want to hear any of it. My head's pounding, my ears are hurting a little bit, my voice is starting to go, but I'm still up here kicking, so I expect all the drivers to do the same thing, and I think we're going to get it on this restart. I think everybody's going to, especially towards the front, they're going to run hard for this, man. I think that we're going to get a good battle for the lead. If either of these two guys, Sean Conklin or Alex Murray, get clear coming off of turn 2, you better expect one of them to make a move whenever that white flag flies.
Yeah, definitely not going to lay over. And we're at that point where I think loyalties or team alliances have all fallen to the wayside. Pace car lights are out. We're entering 3 and 4 for the final green-white checkered. No matter what, this next flag after this green one will end it, even if it's a yellow. Here we go. Pace car getting ready to take the left turn down pit road, as Brandon Edstrom has the restart of his career into the green flag, or the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out. Alex Murray with a tremendous start. Now that's one thing that he does have an advantage. Murray is probably in the same Discord as Edstrom. Edstrom probably counted him down.
He could have, but is that going to open the door too much for Murray? He's got a huge run coming off at turn 2, all the way to the back bumper of Brandon Edstrom down the backstretch, giving him a little bit of a bump draft all the way down the back. He stays in line, going down into turn 3, gives Edstrom a little bit of a shot, but that opens the door for Sean Conklin on the inside.
And here we go. I think we're going to do it. White flag is waving out in the air as they cross the start-finish line for the final lap. Brandon Edstrom, can he hold on? Alex Murray right behind him. Sean Conklin jumps to the top. Murray throws the block, not going to let Conklin. Oh, we see Shane Davis going down onto the apron. But it looks like Brandon Edstrom is going to exit turn 3 and 4. I think he's got it. Brandon Edstrom is going to win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What a race for the 74. His teammate comes home in third, of course, Sean Conklin. What an impressive second place. Not able to, of course, get up there to battle with Edstrom. Alex Murray, I think, threw himself on the sacrificial pile there in order to give his teammate the best chance he could for the win. And it works. What a race for Brandon Edstrom. He made all of the right decisions, and he earns it on green, white, and checkered attempt number 3.
Great job there from Brandon Edstrom controlling the race. I think there might have been a little bit of team gamesmanship from behind with Alex Murray. He just pushed him instead of fighting him. I think he knew if he got side by side, it was just going to open the door for Sean Conklin. He stayed right up under his teammate's deck lid and just pushed him along on the backstretch. I think maybe if they had enough of a gap to Sean, they were going to make the move, that he was going to try to make it happen, but unfortunately for him, Conklin got to his inside in 3 and 4, and that was just kind of all she wrote, and that allowed Brandon Edstrom to scoot away for his victory here tonight.
What an awesome race for Brandon Edstrom. Let's take a look at tonight's final result. And, of course, that ends with Brandon Edstrom, your winner. Sean Conklin, of course, coming home in second place. Alex Murray in third. Jacob Schneider fourth. Nicholas Vroman in fifth. Justin Levine sixth. Ty Ippolito seventh. Richard Garcia in eighth. Noah Bitts in ninth. And Corey Ensing, of course, in 10th.
Octavio Rondoletto comes home 11th. 12th, Joshua Gathright. 13th, Maggie McGuire. 14th is Justin Nenke. 15th is Kenny Powell. 16th, Alan Wilson. 17th, Alan Pajari. 18th, Shane Davis. 19th is Radecki Gregors. 20th, Brett Stevens.
Of course, 21st, Junior Barbarima. 22nd, Justin Belmonte. 23rd, Lawrence Shaughnessy. 24th, Garrett Maines, who led pretty much over half the race. 25th, John Groh. 26th, Brandon Himmel. 27th, Jose Acosta. 28th, Daniel Nanny. 29th, John Wittendorf. 30th, Ronnie Kuritz. 31st, Miller Bonds. 32nd, Joshua Watson. 33rd, Heath Snyder. Paul Bagroli in 34th. Drew Blaze 35th. And Brian Young rounds out this 36-car field. With that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with our top 3. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to GridVision's coverage of Top Split NIS. What a race we had here tonight at Las Vegas. Of course, let's go ahead and get right on into our interview portions of tonight's broadcast. Of course, we're going to first talk to Alex Murray. Alex Murray, we got you up here in the booth. What a fantastic performance. I know you started, I think, in 29th or 28th. Come up all the way up here to 3rd. You almost even had a shot to win it. But it looks like you kind of threw yourself on the sacrificial pile to get your teammate Brandon Edstrom up there, and what a job. I mean, what's going through your mind right now, Alex?
Just how great Reiko setups are. I mean, look at the top 10. Yeah, really good race. Happy for Brandon. Awesome race with Sean there at the end. Just can't thank Reiko enough for supplying us good setups every week.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely a great setup you guys had this week, that's for sure. You know, definitely a very big accolade. But, I mean, what was going through your head there when Conklin was all over you? I mean, and Brandon, did you have any thought to possibly challenge Edstrom?
I was trying, but he knew where we were going to be running, so obviously he's taking the air away from me. And Sean tried a couple times on the 3rd lane there, and I think he just got a little tight on the transition from the 2nd to 3rd lane, and was able to hold him off long enough for Brandon to get the win. And then I made a dumb mistake on trying to pinch him coming to the line. I think had I not done that, I probably would have ended up P2.
Yeah, definitely could have been the case for sure. Would have been cool to see Prodigy 1-2 for sure. And Jacob Snyder, you almost had a 1-2-3. I know you guys are team alliance kind of with the Ryko guys for sure, but still, I mean, it was almost a Prodigy 1-2-3. And I mean, I bet you would like to have seen that for sure, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to see your guys do well, but always want to see the Ryko guys do well. So, I mean, it's a good win for Brandon and a good win for Ryko as well.
Yeah, definitely 100%. Of course, next week, Homestead. We don't see you a whole lot in the NIS Opens on Fridays. We're glad to see you in competition. Do we expect to see you at Homestead next week?
We'll see. It depends on how my son's doing. So, it just really all depends on if the fiance needs help with him or if she's good for a couple hours. So we'll see.
I hear that, and I know, congratulations as well on your son for definitely, and hopefully you can get away, maybe do some racing. We'd definitely love to see you in competition here tonight, Alex. And can we give any more shout-outs for you? Yeah,
I'd like to thank NAMI, Northern Alliance on Mental Illness, for their continued research and dedication to help those with mental illnesses, and also No Kid Hungry for supplying 10,000 meals to children all around the world every day. So got to thank them, and also Ryko and Paddle Track and everyone at Prodigy eSports.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Alex. We appreciate you. Hopefully we'll get to see you again sometime soon on GridVision.
Yeah, thank you, Brian.
All righty. That was Alex Murray, driver of course, the, I do believe, 22 Cosmetically. Definitely fantastic performance there, finishing 3rd. Next up, Austin Edstrom is going to be talking to Sean Conklin.
Hey, Sean, we got you up in the booth. Congrats on your P2 finish. I got to think you got to be a little upset it wasn't P1, and I imagine if the second green-white checkered had gone green and that caution didn't come out, you would have had something for Brandon Edstrom. Do you wish that you could have had that back and that caution didn't come out?
Yeah, at least you see that too. Dude, I had it. If that caution didn't come out, oh jeez. I don't even want to think about it. It makes me a little upset, but I'm also glad we got P2. We were I just rode around that race, just trying to work on my patience, and I just saw the stuff up in front of me the whole race, and just didn't really want to get involved in it, and just kind of sat around the back. Got up to the front towards the end, thought we would have enough, but just that restart really screwed us over, and it's so hard to restart as a second place car. But yeah, it was a fun race. Just really trying to work on the patience. That was pretty much the main goal for this whole race, and definitely upsetting, but it's a good P2 finish, and got like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, got like top 6, so pretty good day for Raiko.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you were saying you were lagging back a little bit at the beginning, but I remember towards the front of the race, you I think you had a bad pit stop or something happened, and you dropped back to 15th. And then I looked up on the screen, and you were passing for 3rd place 5 laps after the restart. So I don't know how accurate that was, because you were flying through the field anytime you got put back there. I mean, what does that say about your driving talent to be able to just pick through the field like that to 3rd, and then even after the tires wear off, you only drop back to like 5th on that run in particular, and were able to hold on to your track position?
Yeah, the pit stops, like, for whatever reason, I could not see my stall each and every time. Like, it would just pop up late, and I couldn't see it, and I also had to drive through a car to see it, so, like, every time I couldn't see it. It was just the weirdest thing. And I pushed to the front that run just kind of as an experiment, just to see what the car would do on the long run after pushing up there and trying to get clean air, but it fell off a little bit, but it didn't fall off too much, so that was pretty good. And then after that, after I just saw that it wasn't worth it, I just kind of stayed in the back, not in the back, but like 10th, just the back of the front pack, and kind of just rode. I don't know, just something in the settings. I gotta go fix that, but my pit box would not show up.
Well, still, even with the issues, being able to claw back to P2 is super impressive. Thought you were going to maybe challenge for the win there again on that second green-white checker. Thought it was going to happen. But regardless, congrats again. And are there any more shout-outs that we can give at the end of this interview?
Just Ken from Raiko, everybody from Raiko. I had a tough week earlier this week, and Ken told me, I'm not being patient enough, and I know that. And he told me, just try to work on patience, and we will get better results. And we've already been getting better results. So just gonna keep on listening to him, keep on listening to my teammates, and just keep trying to move forward. And build off of what we have here.
Well, congratulations once again. I'm absolutely positive this is not the last time we're going to talk to you this year. So congrats on the P2, and I'm sure we'll see you back on the top step again soon.
I sure hope so.
Alrighty, that was our P2 finisher, Sean Conklin. Next up, we're going to step over to Brian Britt, who has our race winner, my namesake, not real brother, but it could fool you, Brandon Edstrom.
Brandon Edstrom, definitely a fantastic performance there. I mean, wow. I mean, we did not expect you to be up here in contention, but you made a call to kind of take tires when no one else did, and you drove your way up through the field. I mean, you were a lap faster than everybody else, and it seemed like it just played out perfectly. I mean, it was all essentially your decisions that led to you being up in the lead. And you were able to keep it up there too. I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, to be up on the top step in victory lane in top split NIS on Friday.
I mean, this win came from a mistake actually. Earlier on in the race, I went to take 4 and accidentally took 2, and then came back down pit road and took 4. So I don't know how I'm up here. I don't know how I won, but I definitely got to give a shout out to my teammates at Prodigy. For really helping me out there at the end, giving me good pushes on the restarts. We've been fast all week long. I won a really big split earlier in the week, so It feels good. First top split NIS win. Just recently, I've been able to crack into top split NIS on Wednesday and Friday, so it feels really good, man. It's actually really surreal that we're sitting in victory lane right now.
I mean, you guys definitely look like y'all had just a hot ride for sure, and like you said, a mistake. I've seen that happen before. I mean, heck, I've probably won my fair share, of course, not top split races, but to where you make a mistake and you come, shut up, Austin. But go down pit road and you probably didn't mean to take that extra set or something like that, and it just seemed like it played out for you. And also that actually helped you, I think, get up to the lead for those green-white checkers, because you didn't have to take as much gas as well. I mean, your pit stall was deep in the field, and somehow you came out as the leader. I mean, it's just everything seemed to work out in your favor here tonight.
Yeah, that mistake was a blessing in disguise. Took 2 tires, gained like 3 or 4 positions on pit road, and my teammate Alex Murray was like, "How are you up here?" And I look at my tires and I go, "Oh darn, I took right side tires and I'm gonna get absolutely demolished." But thankfully a caution came out like 15-20 laps later, took 4 when everybody else took 2, and then that later caution came out, took right sides again. I was out of tires at that point because I'd done goofed so many times, and somehow I ended up here, so I'm ecstatic about it, man. I mean, I've been trying so hard for so long to grind my way up to the top. Grew up going to the racetrack, never got to race in real life, never beaten pros before. I mean, just looking through the field tonight, I'm even surprised that I finished in the top 5, but I'm finally starting to learn that when you put work into it, it pays off. Finally starting to learn how to save tires in this car after 6 or 7 months, and it's just a blessing to be up here and fighting with these guys, and hopefully I can continue to do it.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that, I mean, future, I'd say, how does this help your confidence? I mean, this is a big win. I mean, this is huge, and how crazy this race was as well to survive the mayhem that this event was. I mean, what does this do for your confidence? I mean,
it's a huge confidence boost, man. I mean, gaining 1,000 iRating from Dega to now with the road course in between is a massive confidence boost. I mean, I was at 4K at one point. I think it was like 4,054, and then Darlington Week came along, and I couldn't catch a break. And then all of a sudden, we started getting to tracks that I'm really familiar with. In a few leagues that I'm in, I swept Las Vegas in all of them earlier in the year, so I'm really comfortable here. But honestly, man, it's just these Ryko setups. Like, it can take your confidence and put it through the roof, just knowing that you can save with confidence and you can drive the hell out of the thing with confidence. So going into Homestead next week, hopefully I'll be able to get up there, as it's one of my favorite tracks, but it's definitely a massive confidence boost.
100%. We'll definitely look forward to seeing what Homestead holds for you. I know a lot of things have changed. I know the bottom side and middle group seem to be the place to be. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of plays out. I know tire saving was big here tonight, and I think tire saving is going to be even bigger there at Homestead for sure. But great job to you, Brandon. Anybody else can we shout out after your big victory here and just very impressive performance?
Yeah, I'd like to thank our sponsors, NAMI, the Northern Alliance on Mental Illness, for their continued research and dedication to help those with mental illnesses. I'd also like to thank No Kid Hungry for providing 10,000 meals to children all around the world every day. But I really want to thank Ryko for their continued support and the race-winning setups week in and week out. I mean, I feel like I'm an absolute rocket ship every week, and before a few months ago, I was stuck at 3K running nothing but fixed stuff, and then Alex Murray from Prodigy picked me up, gave me so much confidence that I bought into half the team, so now I own half of it, and now I'm sitting here almost at a 5K, and hopefully we do nothing but go up from there. But Shamrock Auto Care, my fiance who's asleep on the couch next to me, I don't know how she didn't wake up when I was screaming at the top of my lungs. Shamrock Auto Care, Simrat Market, P1 Coffee, Ryko, Caliber Collision, everybody on Prodigy that gets it done. Big shout out to all my teammates who supported me tonight, and all the love from everybody in the Ryko Discord. And I'm getting messages out the wazoo right now, so I got to go respond to a lot of these. But thank you guys for everything that you do as well. Great broadcast. I know that you guys do the Truck League. I'm in on Thursdays as well. The producer Austin always does amazing. Austin Edstrom, my long lost brother, finally good to meet you. And Brian, you're a great dude as well. So thank you guys so much for everything that you do and showcasing NIS on Friday nights.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, and we'll hopefully you have yourself a great night, and go answer those messages. We'll see you next week, hopefully.
I will. There's a lot of Tito's in my future tonight, and I hope the same for y'all too.
All righty.
See you guys. Thanks, brother.
All righty. That was Brandon Edstrom. What a fantastic performance, and definitely, I'll tell you, he's got a broadcaster voice, Austin. I think we might replace you with him. I don't know. We're thinking about it.
I think we should replace the guy with 18.
You probably need to replace me, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. I think Brandon could do both announcing gigs and the producing by himself.
That's right. But man, what a great race! I'll tell you, this is just one of the funnest races I think I've had the privilege of calling, and that's for sure. And this is why I love calling these races. I mean, this is one of the races that makes it all
That's not a word.
worthwhile.
Move you down to F tier.
Oh man, I'm just always getting bad grades. I just hate it. It's South Carolina education. I go to the big boys, and I can't get good grades.
They don't teach you right.
But what a race. I'll tell you, this definitely was a fun one for sure. Let's take a look at the schedule for the remainder of the week. And, of course, pretty much just go ahead and we don't even have to really look at – well, there it is. It's coming up. We'll take a look. Not a whole lot to look at. Of course, we just concluded the Friday night top split NIS race here at Las Vegas. Of course, doubleheader Sunday coming up here on Sunday. 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be at Las Vegas again with the Global Racing Truck Series, and I have a sneaky suspicion that is going to be an exciting one. Of course, those trucks are like it's like the super speedway there with those trucks. Can't wait to see it. Of course, Las Vegas that night as well, and the Xfinity going to be at the Kailu Glass Cup Xfinity Series, the RGR League there, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Me and Justin Prince will be on the call for that one. So definitely looking forward to it. But man, I am just I'm out of breath here after that race. That was a fun one for sure. Big congratulations to Brandon Edstrom for the victory. Big congratulations to everybody that competed here tonight and made this race what it was. Of course, shout out to you, Austin Edstrom, for being the best co-commentator that one could ask for. Big shout out to Austin Derbyshire for being the best producer one can ask for. And anybody else that's involved in GridVision, want to give you a shout out as well. My name is Brian Britt. We'll see you next time on GridVision.